Right.
That was kind of my thought, was that it'll give everyone else.
What's up, muscles? Yeah, so look, it definitely, your character is not designed to be able to roll on his own. What's up, baby? Welcome to the channel. Um, right now, guys, we are waiting on Geo and Nags. They're both said that they would be here by a minute ago. Ooh, looks like Geo just popped in as we're talking crap. But we're still waiting on Nags. What's up, Geo? How's your day?
How's it going? Good.
Good, man. It's good to hear. I figured out what was wrong with my 3D printer, why I failed a couple of prints, and now it's printing well.
Nice.
When I was last cleaning it, between prints, a tiny, itty bitty piece of resin, I missed it in the vat. And so what happened is the build plate couldn't go all the way down. It had like 2 millimeters of resin. Like, I couldn't get this resin out by hand. I ended up having to use like paper towels, an alcohol bath, and like everything I could to get it out. But it wasn't getting all the way down, so I wasn't getting a good plate connection. Once I figured that out and got it out, I've had 2 successful prints already today. The third one looks like it's doing fine. So, yeah, muscles. We have some new channel point redemptions. I run those whenever we're doing D&D, and the idea is that my players, when they're here playing D&D with me, they understand that we're on stream. You guys can affect that. I love watching D&D streams, but I've always wanted to be able to just kind of either help out my favorite players or outright kill. I think what was it? I think AB Baby threatened to donate like $10 so I could just flat out kill Nags, and I'm 100%. I'm easily bought. So we'll give Nags another minute or two, and we'll just sit here and hang out and chat with chat, and just kind of have a little bit of a just chatting while Geo gets booted into Roll20. Hopefully Nags shows up soon, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Hunter GP is a ton at first and second level. And probably, actually, now that you mention that, we probably should reduce that. Just because we are at a lower level. So when I first set those up, we had, the party was like 6th or 7th level. So the party was like 6th or 7th level. Oh, jeez. How can you guys stand to watch me? So, I'm hearing my own voice? That's disgusting. But no, the party was 6th or 7th level, so 100 GP was nothing to them. Like, it was nice, but I mean, it was like an extra potion or two, right? But at first and second level, 100 gold pieces is a big deal, because an extra potion or two is a fairly potent benefit. So thank you for pointing that out before stream, so I don't have to own up to it yet. We will do 10 GP. Well, I guess that's 10,000. 100, I don't know, 100 for 10,000 points.
I can buy 10 of those.
You don't get to buy, though. You know that. You don't get to purchase. You're a player. And 50 experience points at second level is still a fairly sizable amount, but you need what? You have 600, and you need to get to like 1,100 or something. So 50 is a good chunk, but not a ton. Reduce 10 GP to 5K. That's probably fair. We'll do that. We'll pop it to 10 GP, and then we'll reduce it to 5K. Or we could do level times 10, and then set it at a set amount, and then forever, you know?
Yep.
You get some seriously diminishing rewards because that means at 20th level you're getting 200 gold. And that's absolutely nothing.
I'll be right back.
We're in our chatting and prep stage. If anybody's ever played D&D, they know that, the first 30 minutes generally ends up being talking. So we're trying to get that out of the way so we can actually focus on game time.
Did I tell you that the angry coyote laid very still for having his nails trimmed today?
Did he really? That's so good.
He didn't try to murder anything or anybody. He just sat there and he wanted to move. Like he kept on trying to pull his paws away, but
So proud of
he
him.
didn't. Yep. So he's doing much better.
Do I want to do it like this? I'm adjusting our stream because I didn't schedule my life very well today, so or the last week. No, I hate that. I'd rather. So, but cool thing, we were discussing a donation goal, so that I'm able to purchase a better camera for stream, and I might have found one that's not terribly expensive. It'll be like 150, 170 all said and done, which is not that bad. My Logitech here probably cost me $75, $80. But it does 4K digital zoom, so that I shouldn't have to worry about focusing it as I move things around. It should be pretty good. So I'm going to discuss it with my wife tonight because it might work for her as well. My wife, Trixie, she does, she has a Skillshare where she does some Skillshare stuff for sewing, and then she's made some YouTube videos in the past. And so if we find a good camera that would work for both of us, it's going to make it better for her because she's been using her phone just like I've been using my phone. And it might be nice to be able to expand for her because, she's paid by the view on Skillshare. She's only got one project up there where she teaches the viewers how to do something. And I can't even remember what it is. I think it's like a bag or something. Something simple. But she's regularly making like $50 a month off of it. Which thankfully is paying for Skillshare because it's a subscription-based service. And it's paying for some of the other subscriptions she has. So that's not like $50 take home, but it's paying for itself, which is huge plus in my book. So if we can stand to add one or two videos up there, we might be able to. She might be able to start making money. Oh, is that this one that you just sent me? Is that the updated?
Yep. So it is ignoring his math and using actual math.
Yeah. I'll have to fix that later. We'll get it downloaded, though. He should be here in a second. And I don't even know if he plans to keep this as his avatar.
Probably not.
Because it's a four-armed half-dragon, I think, lady.
Yeah.
And he is a lizard folk man.
Yes. And I sent you a picture I thought looked kind of cool for
that red one.
Him. Yep.
Yeah, that looked pretty slick, and we'll show it to Nex. He's busy wrangling the dog. He texted me. He's wrangling Max in, so not
when he and I were trying to do work on getting the template around. He just grabbed that as a placeholder for his. It looks close enough.
Mm-hmm.
So when he and I were searching, we were having trouble finding anything that actually had like sorceress stuff that was also lizard folk and kind of the blood mage ish. So
Well, we can take the time and we'll. Gio, are you back? I
Yeah.
assumed as much because you tried to get yourself some nat 20s tonight, which is not how that works. Again,
Nat 20s.
you can't buy that. No, okay, so Muscles, we've had some pretty funny situations. AB Baby guaranteed a nat 1 to Nags and on his next roll, and Nags didn't roll for anything for something like 30 minutes. So when he rolled and I told him, nope, it's not what you rolled, you got a nat 1, it kind of blew him away. He was not expecting that, and he's a little annoyed by it, but I thought it was funny. But Quackers gave everybody 20s a couple of times, and now when you're doing it, the nat 20 or nat 1, that is you got to tell who it's going to. So, all right. Well, we'll do a quick rundown, introduce our characters here. We've got, let's see. We will start with Bavolk.
well, good evening. Bavolk is a pharaoh. A pharaoh is the piggy people, beast folk in the particular world, come in all shapes and sizes of the animal anthropomorphic version. Bufffolk happens to be the war pig version. He is from a savage tribe. Savage from the human perspective, civilized from his perspective. Low in technology level, and low in the human civilized manners system. The what should we talk about?
That's enough. It's just a very basic intro. We're not doing any role play yet. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm buying time for Nags to get here by having you guys introduce yourselves.
Cool.
So we're going to do this so that I can more easily do this in the future.
Whoa.
All right.
You're really quiet, Nags.
Super quiet.
Hello.
There we are. All right, Gio, go ahead and give us a quick intro of your character, as well as how to say your name.
Thelaphora.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just want to make sure.
So my character's name is Thelaphora Softmire. He's a wood elf, a sage. He is a researcher. He specializes in infectious, plant-based, spore-based diseases.
I like it. I like it. Okay. And now, here in a moment, we're going to have Nags introduce himself. By the way, welcome, Nags.
Thanks. Sorry.
Nah, it's all good, man. Happens. All right, Nags, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about Zuck. Or Zook.
I am Zuck. It is a blood mage. I harness the power of my own life force to cast spells. And, despite the negative connotation around that everyone seems to have, I have made it my mission to prove that you don't have to be evil to practice blood magic.
I love it.
Thank you.
Is that a cultural thing for like where the people he comes from, or is it just unique to him?
Sort of unique to him. He learned it by accident.
So, which, by the way, when I read that was very well done. That was very
Thank
good.
you.
Hopefully, we get to explore that as we continue through our story. So, we will be missing Kurak tonight, which is JDog 80890, due to his unfortunate decision-making skills. He's had a second child, and so he's missing tonight because he's taking care of the child. And I do mean that as a joke. I have 5 kids, and let me tell you what, Worst decision ever. So he is a turtle artificer who uses his Eldritch Cannons primarily for combat. So he will give us a bit more information about himself when the time comes. But this is a general idea of his character. And these character cards that you see on the stream as well as here, this is our splash page. This gives you the idea what their stats are. This -5 at the bottom. This is for you players as well as viewers. We're going to be using a glory stat. Because the idea behind this campaign is our players are on the road to greatness. They're trying to become these great heroes. They're a part of these adventurers guilds. They're a part of, and I'll give you a little bit more background on the world here in a moment. But they're seeking glory, and so we have a stat for glory. They have the opportunity once per session that if they want to try and get something for free on them being recognized for their fame, for what they have done, they can push for a glory roll. Not a glory hole, a glory roll, in order to get whatever item or whatever service or whatever situation to help in their favor. Either the police look the other way, or they get a killer D on magic items, or somebody, whatever the case is. That's what the glory stat is going to be for. It's currently at -5 because they are no one to nobody. Except for one or two of them are, they've got some skeletons in the closet, but hopefully that'll come out later. Not tonight for sure, because that wouldn't make sense. So that is what the glory stat is there at the bottom of each of their sheets. You can see it here on the stream. As they progress, we're going to upgrade that. It's also going to change the outline on the shield. Currently it's copper. They are copper tier adventurers. In fact, they're ungilded adventurers, which is basically the same as being a scab. And so they will become copper tier eventually. That's the first stage in being an adventurer. So let me introduce you to our world as we get started. I have, you know what? I'll bring you guys over here as well. Okay. So this is our city. This is Althalos. Now, in our world of Idumea, there are certain magical locations that have entrances to an extra dimensional plane where you are able to adventure as heroes and go get financial gain, gain fame and wealth. It's one of the few places where magical items tend to happen naturally. It's one of the few places where you're able to find certain artifacts that will assist in teleportation, so that you can do mass teleportation, jump from one major city to another major city across the world. And so you have to be able to get into these places and get it. Now, because of the danger of that, because the danger inherent in that, there are guilds that have sprung up to ensure that only people that are capable and worthy of being able to accept that challenge and can survive that challenge are able to go in. These people are marked with a divine magical symbol called a guild mark, and only those who have been marked with a guild mark are able to go in. Now, this is not to be confused with the tattoo that every guild member receives upon joining a guild. That is different from a guild mark. And so the guild mark is given at a later date. Once an adventurer has proven themselves and advanced to a certain tier. So all four of our characters have come to Althalos for different reasons. They have all arrived here at different times. Bavulk and Kurak both know one another, Kurak being our turtle, Bavulk being our pharaoh warrior, as well as Zuk and Thelaphora both know one another as well, and they've been traveling together, and they are only now arriving at the city of Althalos, whereas Bavolk and Kurak have been here a day or two as they've tried to kind of get things under their feet. And so that's where we're going to pick up with them entering the grand city of Althalos. It is surrounding the obelisk here in the center. And the obelisk is the entrance to this city's dungeon. Not every city has a dungeon, but theirs is the obelisk here. You enter in through a door and you enter into the dungeon. Never entirely certain of what is going to be on the other side or what the requirements are to clear it, but you will have your opportunity. Bavolk, Paladin Errant to the Hungry Mothers, is Bavolk's full title. So, gentlemen, I will now give each of you the opportunity wherever we want to pursue your adventures. Let's go ahead and we can start there. Either we can start with Thelaphora and Zuck as you are entering the city, or we can go to Bavolk with Kurak. Now, Kurak will be a bit more passive, obviously, because he's not here to play himself. So, is there one of you who'd like to start? This is an opportunity. So, this is an opportunity for us to kind of get introduced to the city, introduced to the circumstances, and then on top of that, if you have any shopping you need to do, because I know at least 2 people have mentioned wanting to shop almost before the first adventure, and they wanted to do that here. So, take it away. Who wants to go?
I think the other team should start out because Bavolk is not being a very intelligent individual. It will give me, the player, an ability to try to navigate toward them if they're already in the city doing stuff.
Sounds good. All right. Zuck and Thelaphora, you two have been traveling for some time. It's been a while since you're in the swamps, and Thelaphora, you miss your fungus greatly. But you are certainly looking forward to the cities. You have heard of some sickness that has ravaged through the poor folk, and from the descriptions you've heard, you think it might be fungal based, and so you've come here because you want to learn about it, and you want to either cure it or adapt it for other means. Zuck, you're on the run, and you and Thelaphora came together near the edges of the swamp, and you happen to be heading in the same way, and it's simply safer to travel in a hunting party, as you might call it, than it is to be traveling alone on the roads, especially as a lizard folk. Despite the world's more liberal views on races, lizard folk are still looked down upon, so traveling with an elf would make it a lot easier for you to get things taken care of. You guys have, the last 2 days have been passing basically through nothing but farmland, and towards midday of yesterday, you could see the white walls of Althalos. Massive white walls on the rivers that go through it. It's located right on the coast, and and you guys are approaching the gates. There's quite a few people milling about as they are waiting for their opportunity to get into the gates. The guards are checking. Some people, others are just simply walking by. Racial profiling at its best.
I pretty much just want to start looking for the House Beneath, the Marcus Sentinel Guild.
Okay.
That's my immediate goal.
Okay. So where have you heard of House Beneath?
From the Healers Guild.
Okay.
Because I tried to join the Healers Guild, and their mark just wouldn't work on my body. My body burned it up.
I like it. Good. All right. So you're gonna enter the city looking for that Thelaphora. What do you've got going on? What is your plans here?
What guilds? What does that guild specialize in?
Well, House Beneath is more of a. They tend to be on the bodyguard side of things. They're a I mean, they're a tough, militant, focused guild.
Ah, I see. I'm okay with going with Zuck just to make sure he doesn't get into trouble.
Okay. Okay. So as you guys just wait in line. You just kind of pile in, try to push your way past.
Yeah, I don't want to cause any problems. We're just gonna wait in line.
Thelaphora, are you on board with that?
Yep.
Okay. It takes about 20 or 30 minutes to go 15 feet. So it takes you guys about an hour to get in to the city. Get up to the gates, actually. And the guards stop you and they, who are you and what's your business?
I am Belvapora. I'm a researcher. I'm coming into town to do a research on some of the illnesses that are happening down in the slums, and then I'm also looking to do some research on some of the plants and fungus that come out of the dungeon.
And you got papers? Are you gilded or not?
No guild, but maybe.
Okay. What about you, Scales?
My name's Zuck. I'm here to help Thelaphora with his research with the fungus, and then I'm looking to join the House Beneath.
House Beneath. You're looking to join House Beneath. Scales.
I'm gonna do my best.
Uh-huh. Well, alright. You'll be in. The city's fees, 5 silver a person as they're coming in. So, hand it on over to Leo over there. And there's a younger guardsman walks over to you guys. Basically with his hand out waiting for you to pay your 5 silver.
I'll drop 1 gold piece.
Go ahead.
Is that for me too?
Yeah, that's for the both of us.
Okay.
Okay. Leo gives you a nod and he steps off to the guard shack and the guard lets you on in. He tells you to swing by. You'll need papers. Well, you Scales, you're gonna need papers. They don't normally like having you wandering around ungilded. Tend to eat people.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, well, you eat people. Alright, when you go in, and he points, you're gonna go to the right, and you're gonna go talk to the man by the manger. He'll get you set up.
Alright. No detours here. We're gonna go get Zuck some papers.
Okay. Not a bad plan. Okay, so you guys
might
go
own Facebook, but he's not welcome here.
Yeah. The Zuck. So, you guys will go over to, there looks to be a very bored guardsman with some papers that he is handing out. He signs them. It's going to take you a while to get through because you have to fill out your name, you have to fill out where you're from, state your purpose, right, when you've gotten here. And you'll have to make sure you carry those papers on you at all times, or you risk jail time as a vagrant.
Huh.
Do I need papers too?
You do not. You are not required to get any papers. Now, they are telling you, Zuck, that it's going to cost you 5 silver to get the papers because they need to cover the cost of the papers.
Yeah, I can handle that.
Okay. All right, go ahead and deduct 5 silver from your money.
What is the exchange rate? 10 to 1?
10 to 1. 5 silver for
Got it.
1, or 10 silver for a gold.
Yeah.
And real quick, we've got a stream rate, so we're going to do that and set up the next one, and then we'll continue.
I'm gonna whisper to Zach. Can you read? Do you need me to help you fill out your paperwork?
Yes, I can read.
Good for you.
Like, you're an elf, right? You're an elf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can read Elvish too.
Oh,
Yeah.
very surprising.
The guardsman. You can read Elvish?
I can read Elvish, and apparently he can too.
But you're an elf. Just shut up, Poinies. But the scales can read Elvish?
Yeah, what? I'm very educated, okay?
Where?
It's self-taught.
You self-taught and you call that educated?
Well, how many languages do you read?
I only need one.
That's what they all say. Until you get a death threat in Draconic, then what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Ain't never happened. You.
Lucky you.
He leans over around you. Hey! Hey, Timmy! Come here! This guy reads Elvish! It's like, and then you see Timmy. He's this little redheaded guy, squirrely little skinny guy. If he wasn't wearing full armor, you would assume he was a child. And he's like, and he shouts back, "Well, one of them's an elf. Of course he reads Elvish." No. Scales. The Scales reads Elvish.
Zook.
The Scales. And so they kind of shout back and forth and make a big old scene about it. That you can read Elvish, and they absolutely are not going to let you go until they see you read Elvish.
Take 2 silver off my price. I'll read anything in Elvish that you want me to read.
He laughs at you. It's like, no, that's not how it works.
I guess it's not going to happen then, is it?
Oh,
You pay me, not the city, you specifically, pay me 2 silver, and I'll read anything in Elvish that you want me to read. I'll even write you something.
well, you see, I'm the one with the papers, and you need the papers.
Do you speak Elvish?
I do not.
I'm going to
But
swear at
Timmy
him in
does.
Elvish. Niche. Whoops.
You know what? Let's give me some sort of a charisma check. Whatever you want. You can be trained in it or not. Whatever you want. Whatever charisma check you want. Just give me something. Intimidation. Okay. You hear Timmy just burst out laughing. He is dying. And then him and the paper guardsman started kind of exchanging back and forth as they're talking. You get your papers, and you guys are able to take off into the city. All in all, getting through the gate is taking you about 3 hours or so. So you are getting into mid-late afternoon as you guys are finally free to enter the city. Now, neither of you have been to the city, so what is are you just going to wander and hope you find something? What's going on here?
Is there a municipals building? Can I get a map of the sewer?
I need a map of your sewers. What? We don't even have one of those. I mean, there are municipal buildings. They're not like right where you're at, because if you see, where you're at, you've got your it's a number of merchants that are right there on the edge of town, and then you've got what appears to be training facilities for guards in a barracks over here, with staging for horses and whatnot. So there's not any municipal around you.
Well, if we're by merchants, did you need to buy anything, Zuck?
No, I'm completely fine with what I have right now.
Cool.
I mean, if you need something, I'll browse, but...
I mean, I don't need. It's just
Okay.
out of context. The dungeon master said 2 people needed them, and I know I didn't need anything, so I was like,
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't. I did not mention wanting to buy anything.
Metagame. Jeez.
Hey, God, do I need anything today?
Yeah, exactly. Hey God, it's me, Margaret. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think just quick asking for directions. Ask one of the merchants to point us towards the house of Denise.
You're gonna do that. I'm not gonna talk to anybody without
Yes,
a
I'm
really
going
good
to do
reason.
that.
That'll need to be called scales again. I have papers with my name on it. Come on.
It has an AKA section that says scales.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So, Telefora, you're just gonna go, just pop over, ask any random dude.
You random merchant, dude.
Any random merchant. Okay. He tells you that you can find House Deneth. He says it. You imagine he's probably saying Dennis, but he has a lisp. And so he tells you House Deneth is over in the southern part of the city. And he kind of gives you an idea to head. What the heck? Sorry, got a cat that I did not know could climb that high is on top of my wife's computer. Oh no! Oh no! Oh gosh! And she fell. All right, this is the kitten. That's the culprit. And her heart is going crazy right now. It's beating so fast.
Same.
Yeah, I know, right? So hers is because she almost died. Yours is because you're in love with me.
No, I'm just trying to quit nicotine.
Oh, ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a couple buddies that went through that. They were not friendly to be around for a while.
Yeah. I have gum. I'm doing my best here.
That's fair. Okay. So yeah, he gives you some directions. He tells you to go down to the center here, and then to go south from there. He doesn't give you much beyond that because he says he doesn't do work with that guild. That guild's got their own people that they work with. He says you might find some good directions with the Cartographers Guild. They might have actual maps that you can use to help you kind of find your way through the districts in the area, or either that or to hire a guide. There's a lot of local urchins that will, for a couple of copper, basically will walk you wherever you want to go. So you could do that, and there. You see a handful of boys, basically newsies, right?
Yeah.
Off to the side, they're all dirty. None of them are really well maintained, but they're there and they're talking to strangers. They come in, calling to them. Oi, mister, you need a guide? Right? Stuff like that. I don't know why everybody has that accent, but everybody's got that accent here. And now I'm committed, unfortunately.
I'm gonna ask the merchant if he's a part of a guild.
Oh, of course. Of course. Of course I am. Everybody's a part of a guild who wants to do work. If you're not part of a guild, you're probably like a thief or something. Non-guildies are just growth. You guys are in a guild, right?
I mean, we're looking for the House of Denise for a reason.
Oh, I see. Did you get an invitation?
Invitation for what? How do you know we don't work?
To House Dennis. You said you didn't work for them.
When did I say that?
If you're here looking for House Dennis and you're asking me, I
All
sell
right, you got
jerky. If you're asking me where House Dennis is, you're not a part of House Dennis.
Alright, you got me. I'm just trying to get a map of the layout of all of the
Get you.
guilds in the city.
Well, that's fair. I understand that. So, but
What's
yeah,
your guild?
my guild? Well,
Yep.
I am a member of the Hunters Guild. They do the hunting, and I do the selling and the making of the jerky. Would you like to buy some jerky?
How much?
Well, it depends on what you want. Do you want a full meal of jerky? Do you want to have some for traveling, or you just want a snack?
Snack.
A snack? Snack's just 1 copper, and I'll get a little piece of just some basic, deer or some bear. If you want something more fancy, like a little bit of maybe some chimera. Chimera jerky is very expensive, though. A little bit of a snack is about 2 gold, but it's very tasty.
I'll take bear jerky.
Some bear jerky? Okay, that'll be just a copper. Bears aren't too bad. And you,
Yeah.
Mr. Scales, would you like some? Unfortunately,
Man.
I don't have anything raw. It's all dried and prepped. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine.
Okay. Would you like something special?
I'll also take a piece of bear jerky.
Okay, it'll be a copper. And thanks to No Muscles, all of you have just received 10 gold pieces. Go ahead and adjust your character sheets
Oh.
accordingly. Ooh,
Yeah,
he wants you to use it to buy Chimera though. So you might have to
Oh, perfect. That's what I wanted. I didn't have enough gold for it.
All right.
Let me
So
get,
you
let me
get
a piece
a
of
net
chimera
gain of
jerky.
8.
Some gold out of the sky.
Yeah. Hey, look, somebody pocketed me.
I feel really inspired to buy chimera jerky all of a sudden.
All right. Now, I want you each to roll a fortune check. So that's just going to be /roll. You'll have to type it in. /roll 4DF. What are you doing, kitten? Okay. Theophora. Thelaphora. You do not care for it. It tastes almost sour. You imagine, because chimeras, have a variety of different animals that go into it. You imagine the piece you got probably came somewhere between the dragon and the goat, and it's different. It's different meat for each of those, and it just doesn't go well. It's not good food. You do not care for it. Nags, though, it reminds you of some of the jerky that you used to trade with the humans back in the swamps. It's got a little bit of an acidic feel to it, and you imagine you could see yourself eating this a lot more often. You enjoy it. Like I said, it reminds you of home a bit. But Thelaphora, you are not a fan. So,
Before, can I have the rest of your jerky if you don't finish it?
I don't know why I bought it. I felt divinely inspired to buy it, but this is garbage.
how rude! You can't just say that in front of me.
I enjoyed it, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Scales. I appreciate it.
It's not you or your jerky. It's me.
It's fair. Chimera's not for everyone. It's really tasty, and it's a pretty rare treat. Because, you gotta hunt the chimera, and then you gotta kill it in a way that you're not, piercing the stomach and just make the meat go bad. And so you gotta worry about, scaling it, and you gotta, no offense, you gotta worry about scaling it and carving it and getting the pieces off that you need. And then you gotta transport it, because chimeras, they're not you don't grow them in a farm. You gotta find them. And it's just a pain in the butt. But some people really like it, and so we sell chimera steaks too. If you're ever in the market, they're a bit on the pricey side. But if you need chimera steaks, you come back to me.
Will do.
And his
And
name is Samson.
Samson?
Samson.
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 Yes.
Good to meet
I think
you.
I won't spell it like that in my notes.
What's that?
I think I won't spell it like that in my notes.
If you guys do, you guys write down his name so that you remember?
I
Yes.
have already written those.
Okay. Okay. So are you in character writing down his name? Is what I'm asking.
Oh. Should I?
No, I'm just asking.
Okay. No, I wasn't. I was just writing it down in my personal notes.
Okay, Thelaphora.
I already said no.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. All right. because I think it's hilarious, I'm going to tell you what would have happened. If he'd have seen you writing it with S's, he would have corrected you to tell you it's THAMTHON.
That's how I wrote it in my notes.
Yep, it's Thampton. It's not Samson. It's Thampton. So, but yeah, he's a
Nice.
member of the Hunters Guild. He's one of their merchants. All right, and you guys start making your way downtown. Faces
Walking
past.
fast,
I like
and
it.
I'm homebound.
Well, you hope you're homebound, right? Okay, fantastic. We are going to cut over to Bavolk and Kurak for a little bit while you guys do your actual walking through the city.
Mhm.
Bavolk, you and Kurak have been hanging out and just in kind of doing things. You've gotten into a couple of fights in pits, not in the streets. You've been challenged a few times, and because you are a high paladin of the Hungry Mother, you can't really back down from a fight. So,
They would disapprove.
correct. The Hungry Mothers don't approve of backing down from, basically any fight.
So how long have we been in the city?
A day and a half.
Day and a half. Is that long enough to? Well, I guess the first question is, did I find a guild when I got here?
Not yet. You have contacted the Guild Finder Society, which is a guild in itself that helps new adventurers who are unfamiliar or who have not received some sort of an invitation to find a guild. So the Guild Finders are beneficial. And for a small fee, they'll help you find the right guild. And if you don't have the money to pay the fee, which is fair because a lot of new adventurers don't have the money to pay the fee, what they do is they'll take a cut of your first 3 adventurers' payouts as compensation for their duties. Sometimes they get paid back really well, and sometimes they don't get paid at all if your first adventurer results in dead.
Yep. So the newsies that they walked by when they came into the city, did they seem, when I came in, did they seem shady or trustworthy?
Well, give me an insight check.
But I don't want
Well, then you tell me what you think they are, because at that point you're getting nothing out of me. Oh, 18, good. So, I mean, just with any group of urchins, you imagine some of them are going to try and rob you, some are going to try and pickpocket you, and others are legitimately there just trying to make a couple coins to keep eating, right? So, some of them, like you've heard them talking, you hear some of them talk about how the orphanage, they have to bring in a certain amount, otherwise the orphanage will kick them out. And they don't say it in those words. They talk about, Master so and so. If we don't have we don't make enough. If I don't make enough today, Master so and so is going to kick me out. So can I have the next one? Will you let me take the next one? Right, stuff like that. And that's stuff you hear as you were perusing through the market when you first got there. Because I imagine you also met Thampton. Because you are a sucker for bacon, and he's got some dried bacon there.
Yep. I definitely did.
Did you go for the chimera bacon?
Oh,
Well-
dude, chimera bacon would be great.
You should start a company, a chimera brand. Mate line.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I like the chimera bacon.
Well then.
So I was wanting to hire one of the newsies, whichever one I can attempt to determine is both poor, unpopular, and honest.
Okay, that'll be golly, that's like a whole-on skill challenge. You'll have to do we'll say your insight's pretty good, but you'll have to give me a perception to see if you can spot him out of the crowd. Because everywhere you go, there's a group of them.
I am
Yeah,
amazing
I
at
see his
smelling
face.
things.
You have a pretty good idea. You find one that you think is probably the best suited for those requirements. Basically, all of them are poor, and most of them have nothing. So most of them aren't liked by anybody. So it's pretty easy. Just be like, that one.
You don't look tasty. I won't be tempted to eat you.
Yeah,
You'll do.
exactly. Redheads taste funny. You get over here.
I
Right.
agree.
Yep. I'm gonna wait for my guild finder to locate me a guild. While we're waiting for that, I'm gonna have my newfound paid companion to take me to an area of the city where individuals are not gilded, or possibly wanting to be, but don't have the money, funds, like adventurer types that that I could possibly hire to be like a perpetual hiring, not like shady, Big Tony who repossesses windpipes in back alleys.
And I was really hoping to get a job.
That's a legitimate career, Care Bear. How dare
it
you
is.
bash
We're
on
gonna be
Big
specific,
Tony?
too.
Yeah.
I'm looking more for like the bard types who would. So the overall plan is to hopefully be able to create a hype guild where I will have individuals that I can hire out, or that the guild can have individuals that can hire out to adventurers to hype them up. And this is going to be my first start of grabbing someone.
Okay.
To do that
So your plan is to start your own guild?
Yes, but not one that I'm necessarily a part of.
Okay.
Just one that I get monetary compensation from. So the guy that I'm looking for is essentially going to be the guy who starts the guild.
So you're looking for a board. You're looking to be a board
back-
member, not a CEO.
Yes.
Okay. Where did you come from? Okay. Okay. So he's a gnome. The child. So
Love him
he's
already.
very small. Like, gnomes are pretty small. How tall is your character? About 6.5, 7?
Yep.
So gnomes, full grown, generally come up to your thigh. And they go really well, spit roasted. And so a little gnome is like halfway up your calf small. Like, he is so small. But he has a pretty good idea where all the talkie people are. The pretty words people.
Yeah. Pretty words people.
And
Those are the people that I want as a boy.
And so that's why you're actually here in the southern district of the city. The southern
Excellent.
district is where most ungilded are going to be. If you look down here on the southern district on the city map, and you see you've got the Colosseum here, right? So the Colosseum it's a full on. It's run by the Pit Fighters Guild, which is an actual guild. A lot of adventurers will go to the Colosseum, or would-be adventurers will go to the Colosseum, and they'll throw down with other would-bes to see who comes out alive, because oftentimes they're fights to the death. And then if you win enough, the hope and the dream is that somebody is going to pick you up to join their guild. Or you survive long enough that the pit fighters decide that you're valuable enough to be a part of their guild. You've also got over here this sandy area. It's just kind of generally it's just another miniature marketplace. But twice a week, 2 days a week, back-to-back days, they hold Blood Bowl tournaments, where They will clear out all the stalls, and a couple of teams from around the city, sometimes traveling teams as well, will go down there and they'll play. And again, it's people looking to join the players union, where they can be a fully fledged member of a guild through their Blood Bowl sport, right? So a lot of this part of the southern city is where you're going to find ungilded people. There's a lot of gilded people here too. There's even guild headquarters for a few different places, but like obviously the pit fighters, their guild house is just across the street from the Coliseum. So there's quite a bit going on down here, but it's mostly for ungilded, is what Patrick. That's what you call him, because you can't say his gnomish name. He tried to teach you how to say it, and you were very stubborn about learning to say his gnomish name. But after about 7 hours of failing, you got very frustrated and decided that he was Patrick, which sounds nothing like his real name. But it's just, you're Patrick now. And he's accepted that. He is Patrick because to you, he is a sandwich. Should you get angry. Now, because you have retained his services, this is being your second day, make sure you mark off 5 copper for what you've paid him for information, for guidance, and for being around. And if you're buying him food, mark off another, 2 silver to cover his food for the past 2 days, because he'd have bought him, unless you're buying him better than just bare common meals, right?
I'm attempting to garner his loyalty, so I will let him, or not let him eat what I'm eating, but I will buy him same level of meals that I eat.
Okay. So yeah, then you let me know kind of what lifestyle are you trying to live these past 2 days?
So modest. I get, due to being an acolyte, once I can make contact with people, I will be able to maintain a modest lifestyle. So that's kind of what I'm used to. So that's what I'm going to try to pay for now.
Now there is a small group of pharaoh that worship the Hungry Mother here, the Hungry Mothers. Not enough to really support you, but you can go to them and get one meal each day. But they don't really have space for you to live there. I know that's part of the acolyte background, but the Hungry Mothers is rare enough in this area that it's hard to establish a presence, and they actually live just outside the city over here on the southwest side in the forest. They regularly go back and forth in the city. They're considered residents, but that's where they live. They live in huts outside the city.
Cool. That is where I am most comfortable anyway, but so that's cool. So I will attempt to go out there for a meal once a day to help support my finances. But other than that, I'm going to try to support myself at a modest. And since he's tiny, if I get a room, he can just stay in the room I'm in.
Yeah, he'll sleep at the foot of your bed.
But then I'll get him his own meals. Since he's tiny, he probably won't finish them all. But
are you buying him meals like that are your sized?
No, I recognize he cannot eat what I eat, but I'll buy him his size meals. But it's not going to be like, oh, you're a peasant orphan. Here's some gruel. Like, no, it's an actual meal, like an adventurer's meal for him.
Okay. All right.
Something I'm hoping he's probably not had in a while.
Okay. Mark down for 1.5 modest lifestyle days.
1.5 modest. Got it.
Per day, right? So we're only going to charge half for him. So it'd be like 3 lifestyle days for yesterday and today.
Got it.
So go ahead and you'll take off of that. Good, I like it. Okay. All right. So now you're there with Patrick.
He's gonna take me to the talkie people, right?
Yes, he's willing to take you to the talkie people. Which he thinks there might be some talkie people. That's why you're at this particular bar, because he thinks there might be some talkie people here, some talkie people that can that are ungilded and trying to make their own way here. And there have been a few bards that you've seen up on stage that have been just seen in playing their lute, whatever, what have you. Let's see. Give me a fortune check to see if you're lucky enough to get somebody who matches what you're hoping to do. Oh, thank you,
I
sweet.
think that's pretty good.
Okay, yeah, that's fantastic. Oh. All right, sorry, I'm removing the cat. She wants to go wander off. Okay, there's a few people that match the description that you're looking to get, what you're hoping to find in a bard.
Cool. I'm gonna. Is there a difference in race of them? I want to try to get someone who's pretty. What I would consider from looking at someone else's perception, a trustworthy face.
So you're trying to think of somebody
Someone-
else.
Yep.
So you're looking for what a
Like when
trustworthy face of what an elf would say a trustworthy face is.
Yes, not like he's honest, but like if he tells you a story, you'll believe it, kind of guy.
Okay. Okay, give me one.
But not me, because elves are shady, backstabbing liars. So
All of them, every one of them. Give me
That's
one moment,
right.
guys. I gotta step away and handle some family business that's going on back here. So I'm gonna do
No worries.
that. You guys can go ahead and chat, set up stream raiders, discuss your plans while I'm out of the room. I'm gonna step out and take care of that. I shouldn't be more than about a minute or two. And I also just got my dinner today, so I'm going to be eating while we play. So I apologize to those of you watching as well as my players. So I'm going to set up a 2-minute commercial. I'm going to go take care of things, and I'll be right back.
hey guys, your character faces down on the bottom. See where like mine has
Cut out.
Apple's face.
Yeah.
I think y'all are broadcasting an input. Do you have the option, an easy option, to change it so that it will broadcast your character image? So, like when I switch to my character down the bottom, the little drop down, I just pop it into my character and it pops out like that. Are you guys on your default self, or are you on your character? I'm just trying to see if there's an easy way to be able to broadcast an image like from the game, not since we're streaming. I figured it'd be cool if we put our those pictures.
Yeah. I'll have to take a look at it later.
Yeah, no worries. I don't know what how you guys have yours set up, and if it's not easy, then like it's no big deal. And if you want to have squiggly red hair, then I mean you have squiggly red hair, right?
The photo I took.
All right, I have returned.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Gio, are you playing Path
No
of
need.
Exile while we're playing?
I'm booting it up.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Oh
I
my
just-
gosh.
I left
Are
something
you a
an
big
hour
stupid
ago, and
boy?
it should be ready to go. But I'm
Are you
popping
a
up
giant
right
moose
after
cow?
that.
Hmm?
But
Yeah, buddy.
All right, so we are going to roll on the reincarnation table 3 times.
What?
So there's a reincarnation table, and what's cool about that? There's a reincarnate spell in D&D, and
Okay.
if the spell is cast on you when you die, you get a new body of this other race, right? As is a reincarnation. You're not born as a baby; you get a new body. Okay. So, Care Bear, go ahead and roll 3 D100s.
So there is a list that I had made that I had sent to you that was every race available for player characters. Did you want to use that one
Yeah.
instead, or the one straight
Yeah.
from Player's Handbook?
Let's use that one. All right. Will you send that list over to me? Oh, you did.
I put it on Discord.
Perfect. All right.
Yep.
I only have 1 through 48. Maybe I have to open it up full. Yeah.
Nope, that is So it's 1 through 48, and then each one has like sub races and stuff, which we don't really have to get into for this. But if we were reincarnating, then you would roll for the sub race after the.
Okay, so what happens
initial-
when we have a 96 and a 59? They're not listed.
Right. So 96 would be 48. 59 would be 29. And 45 would be 23 or 22.
Okay, so we've got. You're going to have to give me those numbers again. So we've got 22.
I'll switch and make it 1d48s.
Sounds good. That'll be easier.
There you go.
15, 31, and 47. All right. Give me a roll of 1 through 4. All right. Okay. There is a water genasi, which is pretty easy to tell. It's easy to identify a water genasi if you're familiar with genasi at all. They are part elementals, and this one has a very strong blue tint to their skin, and his hair looks as if it's just constantly waving, as if it was in the water. It kind of is still resting on his shoulders, but it looks like it's moving, and he looks moist. Like he just looks like he's moist from where you're at. And if you were to approach him, you imagine touching him, you would come away moist as well. There's also an orc who's playing on tribal drums. He's quite loud. He's quite brash. But as far as you're concerned, he's really good. Obviously you've been around tribal drums a number of times in your life, and he does it very well. And then there is what looks to be a human. Give me a perception check. All right, this human is definitely not human. You are not sure what it is, but you know he's not human. You know she's not human. There's something there that is for sure not human, but she looks pretty human.
Do I feel a bestial spirit coming from her?
No, she's very civilized.
Okay. My
She plays the harp.
initial want and desire is to go talk to the orc, because he would be a guy that I would get along with. My second one would be the water genocide, because he's cool looking. My absolute last option would be the human. But since I am looking for someone who can talk to the people who are here and delve into the spirits of the storytelling, I think I will attempt to talk to the human first.
Okay. So like I said, she plays the harp, and she's got a quite a lovely voice. She draws her S's out, and it just kind of feels like it goes into the music. Oh, and there's actually a fourth musician here, who has just arrived. And go ahead and give me another roll on the 1 through 48, so we can see what it is. Okay, you're gonna have to roll again.
The 1 through 48 again?
Yeah.
Yep.
39. Okay. And this guy, he is soaking wet. Like as he walks through the door, he is literally drenched in water, and he's leaving wet footprints. You don't think the water comes from him. You think this guy legitimately got out of the river and walked across the road into here. And he's got like a coral horn that when it's his turn to get on stage, he blows the horn and then he starts telling stories. He's a storyteller. He is light blue skinned with green hair. And he carries a weapon with him. It is a trident that he has leaning against the wall as he performs. So that is the fourth mysterious musician.
Well, see, now I'm torn, because I feel like he would be the guy that would just draw everyone's attention while he's telling a story. I think that would give me more billboard space. We are going to flip a coin. It is the girl. I will go talk to the girl.
Okay. You can thank No Muscles for our fourth person.
Well, I really like him, so if I strike out with her.
Okay. So once the lady has finished her performance, she moves to a table and she sits down where she has her meal waiting. She's very attractive and she has a lovely voice, and so there are quite a few gentlemen that are offering her either a drink or offering her a night with a real man. Your general kind of stuff, right? And
Yep.
so there's quite a few people there. If you're going to go over to talk to her, you're probably going to have to muscle your way through to talk.
Then I will go talk to the big man first. See if I can get a window for her after I talk to him.
Okay. So the gentleman with the storyteller that came in last.
Yes.
Okay, you'll have to wait a while because he's up there performing now. So each of them have gone and had like their own, where they performed like a set.
Right.
Right. The first one. What was our first one? I can't even remember.
He was the water genocide.
Yeah. So the water genocide. He went up there and he just kind of he did a cappella. Basically, he sang 3 or 4 songs and then sat down. And then the orc, he went up there and he played basically one song, but it was like a 15-minute song. This guy is, it's an orc on drums.
Right.
It just goes. So he did that, and then you have the lady. She was playing a harp, and she would sing, intersperse it with some speaking. And now the last one, the blue skinned gentleman. Basically, he goes up on stage, he blasts his coral horn, and then he starts telling stories. So you're expecting probably a good 30 minutes or so before he is available to talk.
Well, Patrick, Got these 4 guys that I'm looking at. I think they would be good, fit my criteria. What do you think? I waited for you to take a bite.
Mhm.
Yeah.
As soon as I took a bite, you're like a waitress.
Well, I can't even see you, so it's not like I could time it.
That's fair. So Patrick, he's afraid of the orc. He doesn't like the idea of the orc, and the water genasi looks gross. He just. I mean, look at him. Look at him. His shirt. It's all wet. It's like he's sweating all day. It's gross. I don't like it. He's gross. He's very gross. Yeah, I mean, he fawns over the lady. He swoons over the lady. And then the last one, he doesn't really pay attention when you start asking him about the fourth one because he's listening to the story. So that gives you kind of an idea what he thinks.
Yep. Okay. We are gonna wait for the big guy. We'll talk to him first because Patrick has been enthralled by the words coming from him.
Okay. I mean, he was just as enthralled by the lady, just for reference, right?
But it is a sign from the Hungry Mothers. The point when I asked him that the story was happening, and that's what enthralled him.
Okay, I like it. Okay, it'll take you about, like I said, it takes about 20, 30 minutes by the time he's finishing up his story. But he goes and he finishes his story, he speaks to the bartender for a moment, takes a small satchel of food, and starts to leave.
Cool. I will attempt to follow him. Well, like not follow behind, but like as he's walking out, go up to walk like up next to him and attempt to start a conversation. And as I am extremely charismatic and I know what I'm doing. You there!
Phenomenal. I'm very excited for this charisma roll. I think persuasion's probably the best one for the circumstance. So let's go with a persuasion check here. All right, not bad. Not bad. 13 could have been a lot worse than a 13.
Yes.
Okay, so you call out to the gentleman, and he stops, and he turns and he looks at you. He's got his choral trumpet is hanging from his belt, and he's got his trident kind of resting on his shoulder, and in his other hand he's got the satchel of food. And I ask you, what do you want?
I would like to talk business.
What business you have with me? I ain't no guild. I come here for food every now and again, and then I go off to the sea.
That, my good sir, is exactly what I want to talk to you about.
The sea?
No.
Seen Pharaoh like you out on the oceans?
No. Your interactions here with the city folk.
I tell stories, they give me money.
Yes.
Or food.
Yes. I am proposing a business arrangement. Long term. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'll need some more details than just a long-term business.
So without the flowery elvish words that are so full of lies, I will tell you I wish to procure your services. I wish to hire you, to give you money daily. And in exchange, you will go to everyone in the city and tell them how amazing I am.
You're looking for a herald.
Yeah, kind of. But see, heralds have a bad reputation because the herald's job is to tell everyone tall tales that are unbelievable. I don't want that. I want the truth. When I go out on an adventure, if you would accompany me, you could see what we do, see the adventures we get in, and when we come back to the city, tell everyone.
But now you see, there's a reason I'm ungilded. I haven't wanted to go on adventures. Too much danger in that.
But do you want to get paid?
I'm getting paid now.
What are you getting paid for? Who's paying you?
The different barkeeps as I come around and tell stories.
Ah, yes. But you get paid for telling stories, but then I would also pay you to go tell stories. The stories would be about me. Tell you what, you think about it. And if I haven't found someone else by the time you've made a decision, then if you decide yes, then we can do it. But I am still going to be looking for people, so if I find someone else, I find someone else.
Well, that's fair. I'll be back in the city in 4 days' time. We can talk then. If you
Alrighty
haven't
then.
found anybody.
And safe travels to you.
He nods, walks off to the bridge, and then just jumps off right into the water.
I feel so dirty, like an elf. Oh.
You feel
Talking.
dirty like an elf?
Because I had to talk and use flowery words.
The turtle is getting quite the entertainment out of watching you pitch this, because this isn't the first guy you've pitched. This is probably the 15th or 16th that you've pitched. So yeah, Kurok is getting a kick out of this.
So I would wait for an opening for the girl. Not necessarily like when she's completely devoid of company, but when a large swath of them have been rebuffed and gone away.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna cut back to the other two, Thelaphora and Zuck, and then while you are waiting, we're gonna follow these two through the city.
And I'm gonna go grab soda.
Okay. All right, Thelaphora, Zuck. You guys have made your way through the first,
Gauntlet.
not gauntlet. That's open space of the city. I can't think of the name. I can't think of the word for that.
Yeah, gauntlet.
Okay, same. Fine. Do the
Nailed
first
it.
gauntlet. First try. So you've turned south, and you've gotten down here, and there's two roads that go off to the south. They go off different ways to the south, and you realize nobody gave you directions for which way. They just said go to the next to the next square, and then you're gonna you're gonna go south. So which direction do you guys want to go?
Thelaphora, give me a gold piece. We'll flip for it.
Why do you? I'll just flip a coin.
Nope, give it to me. We'll flip for it.
I am not that dumb.
The most
In the last campaign you were.
That's fair.
No. What, D2?
Yeah,
Two.
All right. So what direction is 2?
That'd be our left.
Your left?
Yeah.
So turning this direction?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. All right. So you start walking down that direction. People are calling out to you. I mean, there are, street vendors basically everywhere. There are people selling food. There are guys pulling carts that are fixing shoes. Everybody's talking to you. It's quite a busy area. As you get closer to the bridge, the people kind of thin out a little bit as you start to cross the bridge into the southern section. There's definitely not as many people out and about. Not as many merchants, I should say. There's probably just as many people, but now you're getting more into, um, you know, homemakers outside, like carving up fish while they're talking to their neighbor, or an old lady stirring a pot, you know, in the side yard of a house where with a dozen children around her, kind of thing. So yeah. And now, are you guys just gonna wander?
I'm
What-
down to wander.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, find a street vendor and ask him, are we close to the house beneath, or do we go the wrong way?
Okay. Sure. Yeah. There's you guys run into a vendor, and you ask him where House Beneath is, and he says, "Oh, it's over that way yonder. You'll see it's the Golden Peaks," and he points them to you. It's actually this structure here is where House
Yeah.
Beneath is, and you can, from where you're at, you can see the Golden Towers. They're not actual gold, the guy mentions, but they're a yellow stone,
Okay.
yellow bricks, if you will.
I noticed we're close to some tokens. Do you want to wander around a little bit?
No, we should probably head to House Beneath.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I sense plot hook. Should we wander? No. Mission. Thelaphora is
I'm here
not
for
taking
one
side
reason.
quests.
Yeah.
Okay.
A quest? I'm already on a quest.
Exactly. Okay. It takes you guys, it's not terribly long. I mean, you're pretty close at this point. It's, another 10, 15, 20 minutes or so walking, just because of how many people there are, and pushing your way past through the crowds and stuff. But you do get to the walls of a rather large compound that is flying. They've got large tapestries hanging off the side of the walls. The walls are manned with guards in chainmail, carrying. They're wearing chainmail. They've got a helmet, and they are carrying crossbows with a sword at their hip up on the wall. And then down by the gate, there's probably a half dozen soldiers arrayed, in a standard guard formation, right? Where some of them are actually blocking the door, and there are some that are further out that you're expected to speak to. They are wearing full plate armor with carrying halberds. And as you approach, one of them gruffly calls to you and asks you, "What are you doing here?"
Well, actually, Thelaphora, are you looking to join this guild as well?
Nope.
All right. My name's Zuck, and I would like to join House Beneath.
Okay. And you think just walking up here, no invite, no name, nothing,
I have a name.
it's
No,
gonna
Jester, my papers told him.
no. All right, I understand. You're not from here. You're not that smart. That's okay. When I say no name, I should know who you are before you come up the wall, before you come up the walk here, before you walk up and start badgering me. I should know who you are, and I don't. House Beneath, we have a standard for a reason, and you don't meet the standard scales.
What is the standard?
The best of the best.
Well, then how do you find the best of the best?
We have our scouts. You show up with an invitation, you get an audience, you get a chance to show what you're worth. You show you're worth it, you're in. But if you don't show up with an invitation, better not show
Well,
up.
I mean, Okay, so here's what I want to do. And it's, maybe there's a chance that you scouts just couldn't find me. And then... character sheet, where you at? Found it. I'm gonna do this.
Okay, so you're gonna alter the
Yeah,
color.
maybe you scouts couldn't find me. Then I'm going to just disappear. Vaguely.
Well, I mean, you may attempt to hide, right?
Well, yeah, not hide, but
Yeah.
you know, just
Okay, I was gonna say
look
because
what I
like
can do.
it says specifically if you're being directly observed, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But you just shift colors.
Yep.
Give me a perception check.
Perception?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeesh.
He does not seem impressed. This Athalos. Anything you can think of happens here. We've seen it all. If you haven't got an invitation, you haven't got an audience. Now run along. You're making me tired.
If only I had chosen sleep. I had another pun there. Telephora, nah, never mind. How do I get an invitation before I leave?
The scouts, they find you. And they'll give you one if you're worth it.
Did that joke already. Okay. Let's go cure some fungal sickness.
I give him a big thumbs up. I'm like 30 feet back from this whole exchange.
Yeah.
Just standing off. Okay. Okay. So
I'll be back. And then we leave.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so where are you guys heading from here?
I'm gonna get one of those newsies, and I'm gonna ask him to guide me towards the slums.
Okay. All right, he will. So give me a luck check to see how lucky you are in which kind of news. Like I know what you're wanting from your newsie.
Yep.
A 1? Okay. Yeah, there's some newsies around here that might be able to get you to the right spot.
I will pick the trustworthy looking one.
Oh, well then that's an insight check. All right. Yeah, you grab a newsie and you pay him a copper and he'll take you to the slums. He tells you the slums aren't the best place, and he doesn't particularly care to go there.
I'll agree. You don't have to stay very long.
All right. Fair enough. All right, so he's going to actually take you all the way down this way and tell you that the slums are actually this little shanty town that's going on outside the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Outside the southern gate is where the slums are. You are in a poor neighborhood, but if you're looking for the slums of the slums, it's that area. It's this area down here.
On the outside?
Yep.
All right, we'll start with the upper class poor people, and then we'll move on to the lower class poor people.
Okay. At this point, it's starting to get pretty dark. You guys didn't get here first thing in the morning. It was almost midday, and it's been quite a while, and you're hurry up and wait, and then wandering through the city. And it is, like, as you can tell, it's a very large city. So that's quite a bit.
That's okay. I don't plan on spending a ton of time here.
Okay.
I'm going to start
Go ahead.
by casting Detect Poison and Disease. So for the next 10 minutes, anything within 30 feet of me, I can know if it's poisoned, if it's poisonous, or if it's diseased.
Hang on.
What's up
And
next?
the spell can penetrate most barriers. So if they're indoors,
Does my blood light up for him?
Absolutely. So Zuck starts shining bright, and you can definitely tell he is toxic.
well, I hopefully already knew that. That was probably one of the reasons why I took interest in traveling with him in the first place.
That's fair. That's probably true. All right, but he is going to be a distracting light to your eyes as you guys are walking through the streets. I assume you guys are walking side by side, right?
Yeah, and I also pretty much only wear a loincloth.
There you have it.
So,
No wonder.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're
I'm
gonna.
looking for someone who's really sick.
All right. Let's. I'm not entirely certain how to progress this. Let's see. Let's do. Give me a fortune check, and then a direction.
Both of us?
Nope.
Okay.
Just the LaFlora.
Alrighty, and then direction-wise, here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You start heading down this way.
Yep.
Okay. As you are coming down this way, you notice there's kind of a low-level sickness, which you imagine is probably like I would guess like a flu, going through the people around here, and so you notice that as you're coming along, but as you continue, you notice here and there's pockets of it where it's really bad, and there's somebody on the side, in an alleyway, sitting down, wrapped up in a blanket, coughing really badly, and you can tell that there's some very sick people in this area. So yeah, you found a handful of people that would match the description you're looking for.
I'm gonna start out by approaching one of them, being like, "I'm a doctor. Can I take a moment to examine you?"
They're skeptical, because why would a doctor be down here? So they're pretty skeptical. They don't honestly. They just flat out don't believe you.
I mean, that's very fair. Do I know what the people who are really sick are sick with?
Without a proper examination, no. So it helps you detect but not identify what is causing the sickness. Your experience with it is what led you to think that the earlier ones you saw are probably just like the flu or a cold, some sort of minor disease or sickness. And because your experience around sicknesses, these ones without a proper examination, you probably don't have there's no way you'd be able to tell, hey, but you've got AIDS, buddy, just looking at him. You'd have to run tests or examine him or her or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anybody that I can walk past who has, I guess, an infection, a festering wound?
Like an open wound?
Yep.
Give me a fortune check. Let's see if somebody's got an open blister or something. Okay. There's a few people that there's a gentleman who has a cut on his arm. He doesn't show the same signs of infection of the other people, but you can tell the cut itself has become infected. You can see the color on his arm. I mean, he's currently lifting boxes into the back of a cart. under the direction of somebody else, and you can see the cut on his arm. It's scabbed over. It looks like it's a couple days old at best, at youngest, and but there's definitely some infection going on there, and some sort of a disease has taken hold in his arm. It doesn't seem to be slowing him down. Every now and again, he'll stop and he'll cough a bit, take a swig of some sort of drink that he's carrying on his waist. It's in a clay jug, so you're not sure if it's just water or if it's an alcohol of some sort.
Okay, I'm gonna, I guess, bug him and ask him if his arm is hurting him.
He kind of shrugs. No more than usual. I cut it the other day, and a cut hurts.
Can I take a look at it for a quick second?
He looks over to the merchant in charge of his that he's loading for, and the merchant doesn't look too pleased about it. You get the feeling that he would likely be fine with it, doesn't care, but unless his boss says it's okay, he's not going to stop. Because even while you're talking, he's still picking up crates, he's still loading stuff and moving things. It looks like they've just recently started loading, so it'd be quite a wait for them to finish up. You don't know if he's going to be leaving with the cart as well.
Alright, I guess no worries. I'm going to cast Healing Word, though.
Okay, on him?
Yep.
Okay. You see the shock, right? Because the spell and because you speak it and there's a visual component as it heals him, and it knits together his flesh. There is a scar there. There's a line where the scar was, but there's no longer a cut. You don't see any of the scab anymore. And your
Go ahead.
And your detect poison won't drop, right? Because it's still it's just your concentration, and your healing word does not drop that. So the infection is not gone.
Yeah.
But the wound has sealed itself.
Alright.
We're not in the slums, are we?
You are in the sort of slums.
Okay.
If you were to go to, this is not the slums, but it would probably fall under lower middle class.
Okay.
Outside the gate
And
are the slums.
can everyone see me glowing, or is it just Bellaphora?
Just Delaphora.
Okay.
Delaphora is the only one. No, if everybody started lighting up, and he's like, by the way, if you're lit up, you have poison in you.
Yeah,
they would
because of
freak
huge
the
panic.
F out,
I understand.
right? So just Delaphora sees this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, sorry to bother you. I was just worried about an infection. And then I'll walk over to the merchant.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask the merchant about I've noticed that there are people in this town who are really, really sick. And if he knows anything about rumors or, hearsay about what's happening.
He says he's noticed some people sick in the area, but it doesn't seem unusual. He's been here for years, and people get sick. It's nothing like the plague that came through here 20 years ago. He's probably a middle-aged 40s or 50s human. He says it's nothing like the plague that swept through here. But I've seen people sick. I don't know of anything real bad. But I'm a tailor. I sell clothes to the high markets, so I don't know that I don't pay attention to what goes on around here other than what my workers do.
No worries. I was just wondering if you had heard anything.
No, there's the Healers Guild across the bay. You could talk to them. They would probably know better than I whether or not there's something going. They generally are pretty good about letting the Burgermeister know, each of the individual Burgermeisters know what's going on if there is some sort of a sickness. And our Burgermeister down here has always told us if something was happening, and I haven't heard of anything.
Okay. And you just said they were right across from the bay, and I kind of pointing in the direction of the bay just to confirm.
Yeah, he gives you he points out this way. He doesn't. He couldn't tell you where it is exactly. He just knows they're over there. He's never had to go to the Healers Guild. There are wandering healers that'll walk through the streets, every now and again. And anytime he's ever really needed a healer, somebody's just grabbed one of the wandering healers and brought them over to wherever he was. And he's only ever needed like a full on healer once. And that's when he had a cart fall on his leg and break it. It kind of tells you he was working on the side of the cart, and another cart came too close and bumped it from the other side, and it was just enough that it actually broke the wheel on this side and it came down onto his leg. Other than that, he's never really had to worry about dealing with the healers, so he just knows they're on the other side.
Okay. That sounds super painful.
It was, and he still walks with a limp. You can tell as he moves around the cart. He still walks with a significant limp.
Now, do I know if I have the capability of being able to help with that with magic?
So the way healing magic works, especially here in Idumea, is there are certain things that healing magic can cure perfectly. All your minor wounds, most internal bleeding and bruising and stuff. The wounds you get in combat generally can heal without any problem. So from a rule standpoint, right? Basic hits and damage, it can heal. It can cure your burn marks from a fireball or from a scorching ray. For the most part, almost all the way, unless it's a really potent one and you took a lot of damage. Critical hits will always leave scars. No matter if you get it healed the second after you take the critical hit or it heals naturally, it's always going to leave a scar. And so, but like minor stuff, yes. Fixing a limp, you don't know that it is, you don't believe it's within your realm of fixing it, especially if he worked with the Healers Guild and they were unable to prevent him from having a limp.
Yeah.
Because forcibly knitting the bone back together and stopping the blood loss inside, because from your conversation with him, you know that the bone pierced the skin. Like he pulls up, he's wearing like a kilt, he pulls his kilt up and you can see on his thigh where he's got a big scar and he's like, that's where the bone came through, right? It was his femur that broke, which normally is a death sentence. But luckily enough, it wasn't for him. But he's got the scar, and if you could see X-ray vision, you see his bone isn't natural anymore. It's got damage to it that healing magic wasn't able to correct completely.
Cool.
So what this means from a rule standpoint, if you guys take critical hits or get knocked unconscious, you will end up at the very least with scars. And at the worst, you can end up with permanent injuries that will affect you throughout your adventuring career.
Even now in real life, a compound femur fracture is nothing to scoff at.
No, it's not.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's actually considered to be the most painful bone to break in your entire body.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the thickest and strongest, so to have that break, that's just brutal, man.
Yeah. I had 2 fractures in both my arms. That hurt like hell.
Yeesh.
I've been lucky enough to not break any bone completely, but I have cracked every single finger on both hands playing football. Because as a lineman, you get your hands on somebody, some other a-hole puts their helmet right on your hand, and you bust your knuckles up bad. So
Anyway, I'll ask them. I have a little bit more time before I need to go find a place to stay in the evening. If there are any other people who need air,
okay, give me an investigate check.
investigation check. I'm good at investigating.
Ooh, you are very good. He mentions an old lady. He says her name is Theophanu. She's an old dwarf lady, and he hasn't seen her in a while. He normally sees her. She comes around, she talks to everybody. She's kind of like the local grandma for everybody, right? She's been here for who knows how many 100 years. She was the local grandma to my grandma, he says. But he hasn't seen her in a couple days, and that's strange. And he hasn't been able to go see her. But he gives you directions where you'll easily find her hovel if you wanted to go
Okay.
check.
I have two more questions then. His name, just so that I can tell the lady, if I find her, that he suggested I come take a look. And then secondly, just a nice place to stay.
His name is Javik, and he asks if you want to stay down here. There's nowhere nice around here, but if you go up to the river, there's a lot of good, cheap places along the river that look out over the shipping lanes and stuff. Stay away from the docks. The closer you are to the bridges, the more likely you are to have decent lodging. But he doesn't have a specific place. Like he has a watering hole he goes to down here, but that's it.
Yeah, cool. That's what I needed then. Head towards the old lady.
Okay. It is not difficult to find her house. It's honestly it's like 2 blocks away. It's not difficult to find your way to it. And when you knock on the door, or do you knock on the door, or you just walk in?
I do knock on the door and announce myself, who I am. I'm a doctor, and that Javanik asked me to check up on you.
Okay. There is no response.
Again?
Okay. One second. Zuck, what are you doing while he's knocking?
I'm just, looking around.
Okay.
I'm following him around to help him with whatever healing he needs.
Okay. So
So-
you're just kind of walking around now. You're just kind of, or are you just there right next to him waiting? Or are you just kind of wandering around but staying close? And
Yeah,
just,
I'm
like-
staying close, but I'm, just exploring a little bit.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Sorry, I lost my sheet.
No worries. You know what? We're gonna give you advantage. Give me a perception check.
Huge.
There we
That's much
go.
better.
There we go. You smell something that smells suspiciously like rotten meat, and you think you hear something inside the house, but you weren't able to identify it. So as you're kind of just walking around, looking around, you're kind of around to the corner of the house, and you think you catch a whiff of something as the wind blows by, and you think you hear something in the house, but you're not able to really identify it. But
Windows?
kinda, yeah. There's windows. No glass in them or anything. It's just hanging sheets and stuff over them.
Can I peek in? Maybe.
Now, keep in
Can
mind,
you roll a stealth for that?
I was gonna say you're gonna want to do like a stealth
Yeah.
check because this isn't something that most people are appreciative of. Now, you can roll with advantage because it's chromatophore.
Yeah.
Thank goodness you had chromatophore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're able to peek in. It's dark out there, and there's still light out on the street, so it's kind of hard to see. Your eyes don't adjust very well. but it looks dirty. You think you see a person on the far side of the room. I mean, it is a hovel, so there's probably one room total, maybe a
Mhm.
second room towards the back. You see somebody laying down, and they're just kind of there. You watch for a little bit, and you notice some movement, but it's. I mean, you know what a dying animal looks like, and this looks like a dying animal.
Okay. I'm going to run back around to the front and talk to Thelaphora and say I think somebody's dying in there. Like they're not going to be able to get to the door.
I'm gonna push the door open and see if I see anyone in the front room, the front entryway, right before I enter into the house.
You push open the door. It's not locked. It doesn't even have a latch. It swings open. Easy enough. I mean, it creaks open. It's not a well made door. It creaks open, and you do see the same person that Zuck was telling you about. You can see them from where you're at. You don't see any other people. You're fairly certain it's a dwarf, but they are under a lot of blankets, and so you can't be sure.
Okay.
Are they glowing?
Yeah. Do they show up on my
Oh yeah,
detect poison and disease?
very much so. They have some. They have some form of disease that is very advanced, and it is obviously ravaging their body.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to the bedside. Do they seem cognizant of what's happening around them?
No, she's speaking Dwarvish.
I
So-
understand Dwarvish.
You can.
Yep.
Okay. It's still pretty guttered and difficult to understand. It's very slurred. You imagine that she's not entirely here mentally. Something like this is late stages of an infection, a disease that turned infectious.
I was just gonna do an investigation basically on what I thought
Language
it was.
proficiency. Okay, so with the medicine check, I mean, you think it's probably just a really bad fever, and she's just having fever dreams.
Can I do? Hmm. I definitely want to keep an eye on this, the progression of this particular disease. Let's start with I guess, basic medicine.
Okay.
Can I use a herbalism kit?
Yeah, that'll give you advantage on a medicine check.
Okay.
While you're doing that, Zuck, what are you doing?
Well, I guess I'm standing like near the entrance so that if anyone thinks that we broke in, I can explain what's happening.
Okay, so you're outside of the house or inside of the house?
Inside the house, but like looking out the door, like up and down the street, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right. As it starts to get dark, it's almost like flipping a switch. Like people get off the streets as soon as it starts to go night. So you don't see many people to worry about.
Okay.
Yet, right?
Yeah.
That you have seen. I mean, give me a perception check if you want, and we'll see if you spot anything in particular.
Man, I'm killing them.
You don't. You don't.
What if I turn invisible?
That just means you're good at hiding.
Okay. I can't see any better. Got it.
So,
I just rolled the medicine check. I'm gonna use the herbalism kit and treat for symptoms.
okay.
Fevers,
Yep.
swelling, inflammation, sinuses, all that stuff.
Well, you can basically tick every box.
Then we're ticking a lot of boxes.
So she has what looks to be, it looks like she's got a cut on her leg, and you can't be certain on just your initial investigation, but there's a real, it's really inflamed. It's really looks like it's very infected, to the point where it's not even fully scabbed over. It's still very pussy. And if you touch it anywhere around it, she that's the most movement you get out of her. She's in a lot of pain when you touch that. And basically anywhere up her leg all the way to the hip is really bad. You can see, with or without vision, your detect poison, you can see discoloration of the veins moving upwards from her leg. So the cut is on the lower calf, and the discoloration is moving up about, I'd say it's about halfway up her thigh at this point. And she's got a raging fever. She's got a bit of a cough. Her eyes can't focus on anything, but you're not sure if that's the delirium from having a high fever, or if it has something to do with whatever has her sick.
Is it like obviously a fever? Like, can I see that's a fever?
You can see that she's got a fever for sure.
Okay. So I have a question for you. I know Chill Touch is necrotic damage, but can I cast like Chill Touch on a wet rag and just put it on her forehead? I'm trying to help.
Yeah, I'll allow it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You have cantrips like Prestidigitation, because that could also work.
I do have that, yeah.
Yeah, Prestidigitation will allow you to cool or heat things.
Cool.
So if you take a wet rag, you can use Prestidigitation, and you can make it a very cold rag.
I will do that.
My favorite usage of Prestidigitation is when everybody else is eating trail rations, you just can cook your trail rations, and you have a warm meal while everybody else suffers.
Okay, now I forget what you said. Do cantrips cost me health?
Care Bear, what was the ruling on that? I can't remember what the health points that you and Geo used, because we're using the format that you used with Geo.
We did the cantrips do not cost health.
Okay. Cantrips do not cost health then.
Nice.
Because basically, cantrips are your non-spell slot due once you've run out of all your resource spells. Right.
Correct.
Anyway. I'm going to grab a vial. I'm going to take a sample of some of the infected discharge, either from the wound or... Yeah, probably from the wound.
Okay. Do you care about her making noise? I guess the better question is, are you trying to make it... do you care if it's painful for her, or are you trying to make it not painful?
Not painful. And we only really need a very, very small sample.
If you're taking it from the wound directly, you're still going to need a medicine check to do it without causing pain.
Okay.
Because the how far along it has progressed.
Cool.
Just hit her straight in the head, really hard with a frying pan, and then...
Anybody got a crowbar?
Not too hard, because you want to kill her, but you knock her out. It's anesthesia.
If you do, it's just... You can then you have a dissection. Then you have a really good idea what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
23.
23? What's the D4? Oh, guidance. Guess guidance. Okay, I didn't see that part. Okay. Yeah, you're absolutely able to get some of the... You get a little bit of the necrotic there. You notice as you get real close to it and you're checking it, your initial inspection, you didn't catch that there's necrotic flesh here at this point. Some of it is actually dying and rotting. While it's still attached to her leg. So you're able to remove some of that and some of the pus, and you're able to put that into a small container of some sort. I assume you have a vial as part of your herbalism kit?
Yep.
Okay. And so you use one of those vials to get that. Is there anything else that you're looking to grab in the meantime?
Does she have alcohol?
And she's a dwarf, so yes, there's alcohol in the house.
All right, we're gonna a wound clean, and then I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds afterwards.
Okay. Are you going to restrain her in any way? Because just barely touching it has caused a lot of pain. So if you're going to pour alcohol in this to wound clean it and touch it to wound clean it, you know she's going to thrash and probably scream very loud.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm still gonna do it anyway. Zach, can you hold her down?
I can try.
Okay. She's an old woman, Zuck. So, yeah, that's right. You don't have a whole lot of strength.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know
well,
she's an old
You're
woman.
done with
I'm
no
well aware.
strength?
We'll see. All right, I guess go ahead and give me a strength check, Zuck, and I'll give you a strength check. Okay. So she screams. She's like blood curdling, loud screams, and she thrashes. And Zuck's trying to hold her. You're able to do some really good cleaning. Because of her thrashing around, it's not perfect. You don't do it exactly how you would like. But you are able to clean a bit. And then you can go ahead and cast your Cure Wounds. Zuck, you take a fist to the jaw. Like,
Yeah.
you get absolutely clocked by this lady. And she may be an old grandma, but she is a dwarf. And you imagine she probably did hard labor for most of her life,
Yeah.
judging by the connection that punch had with your jaw. So, no damage or anything, but it hurts.
Okay.
And your pride is a little bit hurt.
Well, I have
Okay.
strengths and weaknesses.
I was not expecting the lizard man to be noodle armed.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's his dump stat, I think.
It is.
So,
But after that, I don't have any more business. She's probably not even cognizant enough, but I'll just mention that I'll come back to check on them, on her, and probably tomorrow.
Okay.
But I think we're out of the house.
all right. Give me a luck check, one of the two of you.
Alright.
All right. Both of you give me perception checks. All right. You can hear what sounds like heavy booted feet running your direction.
We'll vacate the area.
Okay. You can either go with stealth checks to try and sneak by, or you can tell me, because the 15 is not good enough to give you like a great idea of like, because there's a couple streets around you about where exactly they're coming from. So you can stealth if you want to ensure you avoid, or you can tell me what direction you go. And if that's the right direction, you can avoid them altogether without any rolls, or you can run into them.
What do you think, Zach?
I think we split up and I go out the window. I cannot be seen here. I can't.
Fair. I'm down for stealth checks.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do stuff. I mean, good luck because I won't.
Can I retcon in guidance first?
Sure.
Yay! Even 15.
All right. And then a 21 for Zuck.
Yeah.
He's gone. You are disappeared. Nobody sees you. Nobody knows you're there. And you sneak away as well, Thelaphora. Thelaphora. I'm gonna get it right eventually. So yeah, you guys are able to sneak away. Thelaphora, you think you were probably spotted by somebody as you're going, but you're able to get out of the area before those heavy booted feet show up. But you're almost positive that somebody saw you as you're sneaking because you basically made eye contact with them. You were behind a bush, so maybe they didn't see you, but the way they looked at you, you're almost 100% positive they saw you.
Well, hopefully I played it cool.
As you sneak through a bush. Don't notice me. Okay. And so then where do you guys start heading?
I'm gonna head towards the inn district, near the river, and in
Okay.
close to the bridge.
All right. So we've got the two bridges where you're at, and there's this one over here. I assume you're going to go to the closest ones. So in this zone,
Do we pass this building?
you will not. No,
Okay.
because you're going to go. If you just take a beeline, you're going to head up this way,
Yeah, that makes
Kinda
sense.
just like basically like so, right?
Yeah.
So you won't pass that building unless you decidedly choose to go that way.
Nah. It was more going to be if we're passing it. I wonder what that building is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you two start moving your way north and running from the cops, we will cut back to Bavolk and Kurak. Bavolk, it's been a while, but finally people start to peter out a little bit as it starts to get darker. Some people start filing their way home, and so the lady is now not as bothered. Are you there, Care Bear?
Yep, I am still here. Sorry.
Did you hear what I said?
Nope, my ADD kicked in.
Gotcha.
I was staring at the city map.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, the as I was saying, as it starts to get dark and it starts to get on into the night, people start kind of petering out, and the bar that you wanted to talk to is only got a few people bothering her now. She seems she doesn't seem like she's being very haughty. She is entertaining everybody politely, but there's just lots of people talking to her.
Okay, I'm just gonna go up and sit down at her table.
Okay. She kind of looks at you inquisitively. Can I help you?
I'm gonna try to wave off the gentleman. Be like, gentlemen, just give us a moment. We have business.
She's obviously very confused, but she's still there. She hasn't told you to get up.
Okay, awesome. So as long as the guys walk off, so I can talk to her relatively private-ishly, not like super secret, but I'm just gonna give her the same pitch.
Okay.
I'm looking for someone to hire full time to accompany us on our guild missions, cross guild, companion guild, guild partnerships, and not necessarily join, just staying back, staying out of danger, but just to storytell.
Okay.
When we return to the city, we don't necessarily hang out. We don't, we can, of course, but you seem to be extremely popular, and my particular reputation may not bode well with whatever plans you have, but you would be able to tell everyone stories about us and help increase my reputation and renown within the city. Not lying, of course, but telling good stories. What do you say?
Give me a fortune check. Let's see how into this idea she is.
Kind of check and see if she's got a any guild mark, and bring that up. And be like, and if things go well, we would be partnershiping in attempting to create a guild that would be doing exactly what we would be doing.
Okay. Okay, so now you have to give me a persuasion check. She's not disinterested, but she's not super interested in it either. She's got a pretty good setup right now.
Yeah, I was trying to
look at
sweeten the
you.
pot with that, but hopefully that's enough.
She's definitely interested. It sounds like something that she would be interested in doing. She likes the idea of travel. She's not a combatant. She doesn't know how to fight. And so she's always been nervous about doing that. But if she was traveling with tried and true adventurers, that might be worth it.
Well, yes. Obviously, we are. I mean, not Patrick here, and I look down at the floor. Like, where did he go?
He fell asleep under your chair over there by Kurok.
Oh, there he is. Of course, Patrick is not a seasoned adventurer as myself. Look, I got this scar, and I'll just start telling her about the scars until she tells me to stop.
It's about halfway through your third story that she's. I understand. But yeah, she is tentatively interested in the idea. Her name is Kira Nollis. I will type that out for you.
Yeah. Real quick, out of character, if I wanted to make a phone call, so like if she's in the city doing her thing and I'm in the city doing my thing and we get an adventure, does the city have a magical version of like dropping her a note?
There is the Messenger Guild. It is expensive to do that, but they have stations around the city where you can drop, you go to any one of the stations and then they'll drop the note at any of the other stations, right?
Okay.
Once it's at the station, they can't guarantee she's going to be there. But if she knows how to read, they generally will put up names out on a board, so that people know to come in and verify who they are, right?
Yep. Could I fashion a free version of that where we have a drop location? Like, oh, hey, under this rock over here, or like, hey, in this tavern, I'll just tell the bartender, like, hey, she's a regular here. Can you just hand her this note?
So absolutely, right? If you like, that'll require some setup though. Okay, you gotta find the bar that you want to do it at. You have to befriend the barkeeper, right? And if you're friends with the barkeeper, you're like, hey man, Kira Nollis, we give this letter to her when she pops in. I gotta go out of town. She'll probably be here in the next day or two. And he's like, yeah, I know Kira, right? And then he'll have the letter. That's fine. You can absolutely make a drop location, but keep in mind, if somebody else knows about your drop location or figures out your drop location, your letters may go missing, or you may be targeted if you have rivals of some sort, which would include Kira.
Yes.
So both of them, absolutely, you can do. You can 100% do those, but you need to have some setup, and you don't have a relationship with any bartender enough yet to be able to do that safely. The one here, you might be able to be like, hey man, you know Kira, she comes in here and sings for you every now and again. She stops in, will you give her this letter for me? And he may or may not give it to her. It depends on if he cares enough or remembers. But
and if I just say, hey, tell her I'm looking for her, and then I stand out, so he's gonna tell her, hey, pig guy came in.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that too. Again, it depends on if whether or not he cares enough about it, or you leave a good enough impression with him that he remembers, or a bad enough impression, as it may be.
then the messenger guild, if I have just leave a note at a station and they don't send it anywhere, they just hold it. Is that cheaper than them sending it to another station? Or
Oh, for sure. Like if you leave a written note with them, it's a handful of copper. It's not very expensive. Depending on how long you want them to be
Sweet.
willing. So if they're holding the note for a day, it's a handful of copper. If they're holding it for like 2 to 7 days, it's a silver piece. 7 to 14, it's going to be a couple. Now, you choose how long they're going to hold it before you pay, right? Because they don't know if you're ever coming back, so you pay up front. If you say, hey, we hold this up to 2 weeks, like, yeah, that'll be 3 silver. You pay the 3 silver, and if she comes the next day, you're still out the 3 silver. They're not refunding you. But you've paid for that 2 weeks of having the letter held there waiting for somebody to come get it.
Yep. So my current plan, once we start actually like doing adventures and stuff, we'll pick one of these messenger guild places and just go check once a day.
Okay.
Or like I'll go check and like drop off a note and say, hey, we got a mission, leaving tomorrow. And at some point she checks and goes, oh, hey, got a mission, and then goes and meets us somewhere.
Okay. All right. Like I said, she seems like she's starting to get interested. She seems a little bit more on base with the idea, but she's not committed to anything yet.
Right. Not committed. And always with good business tactics at the very end when we get our tentative, like, hey, we're going to see how this works deal going.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, yeah, that really awesome storyteller dude that walked out, he's going to be back in 4 days to tell me if he wants to do it too. So just let me know before then.
All right. Sounds good.
No. Cool. And I'll go out and I will I mean, there's really nothing else to do. Go to the pit fight, make some money, and hopefully the other guys will run into me.
Okay. Yeah. You and Karak can head down to the there's a whole there's more than just the Coliseum. There's a bunch of little local pit fight spots where you can hop in there and just fist fight with some locals who feel like throwing punches, right?
Yeah.
So you can go ahead.
Seeing if maybe I can make a little bit of money to pay for cost of living, but like nothing big, just pass the time, and because I've got nothing else going on, so
Okay.
I don't even know about the other in character. I don't know about the other guys, right?
Correct. So go ahead and give me an athletics check. We'll just use that to determine how well the fight goes.
And because of my awesome amazingness, I have advantage.
Oh, you do?
Because of the angriness that I achieve, the blessing of the Hungry Mother.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Very cool. Okay. Do you have a question, Gio?
No.
Oh.
I just said wicked sick.
Yeah. You definitely make enough money to be able to pay for your evening, pay for the day's meals and stuff, and tomorrow's. So you'll be fine. You don't have to lose any money tomorrow to maintain your and you are healthy enough that you feel like you could throw down again tomorrow night if you've decided to find a place.
So yeah, I will wait, and then as a player, I will hope that we can bump into each other.
I have a plan for that if you don't, so it's okay. But as it is getting closer to dark, you guys are gonna want to start looking for some form of an inn, somewhere you can rest. There's a number of, like I said, there's a lot of decent inns that are along the riverfront. near to the bridges. So you guys can go search there. They're going to be a little bit more expensive than a common inn, but they're also going to have actual hay beds versus a sleeping mat on the floor in the great room. So it depends on what kind of night you want to have to sleep.
Hey,
Okay, of course the elf. Hey bed, I want to sleep in a nice bed.
in the sewers.
In the sewers. I don't have anything to steal, so I am good with common room.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So Nags,
It
are
gives me
you
the-
and Thelafora gonna split up for the night?
Well, I mean, how much does the hay bed cost?
More than a regular night.
Okay.
Which I can't remember what a regular night. And of course I don't have my PHP on my desk. Give me a sec to quick Google that and make sure.
I have it up.
For just a standard inn night.
No, I have the player's handbook up. Sorry, I can.
Is it modest or is it comfortable?
I would say it falls under modest.
5 silver pieces.
Okay.
I can swing that. That's fine.
Okay. And then the poor would fall under the sleeping on the floor.
1 silver piece for that.
All right. So Care Bear, you'll do 1 silver piece out of your pocket, and then you two will each do 5 out of yours for the nice beds.
Nice, but
And all 3 of you, give me a fortune check. 4DF.
Ooh, Zook!
Huge.
Ooh, look at you guys. So the target was a combined total of 2 or higher. So really, by the time Zook had rolled his, Thelafora could have screwed up. But let's be real, we know Geo, and he is the baby of RNGesus. So 1 second. Okay. All right, you guys sleep through the night. Nothing. No big deal. I assume you're Bovolk, that you're having Patrick just like sleep on the cot as well, or just on the floor next to you or something.
Yep, I can sleep on the floor. He can sleep on the cot.
Okay. All right, fine. They give you a cot. They point you to a cot that's for your size. So when Patrick lays down on it, it's hilarious. It's like a kitten on a king size bed. But yeah, you guys sleep through the night uneventfully, no problems for the evening. And the following morning, as the sun is coming up, you guys are able to start your day. Where do you want to? There's a kind of a so. It's just a big open room where like the main area, and then there's a couple of rooms off to the side for higher paying, and then the innkeeper tells you guys that there's a spot out in the front of the inn under just kind of like an awning. There's some tables where people just sit down on whatever seats are open, and they can purchase breakfast. He cooks breakfast. He and his soulless golems and burly orcs cook breakfast. Eat. I wish one of you guys had read that comic. It is funny. That was a great reference, and I'm sad that you didn't get it. And
Sorry.
But yeah, so he and his soulless golems and burly orcs will make breakfast in the morning, and so people just sit down at the benches and you'll get breakfast. Breakfast is 5 copper for gruel, 1 silver for an actual meal with a drink with some breakfast ale is what he calls it.
That's a breakfast meal for me.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going for it.
My good sir, does the breakfast come with dessert?
No.
What the ale's for?
It's not wrong.
Well, my young friend here would like dessert.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't make dessert. There's a baker across the river who makes some good sweet rolls if you want to go there afterwards.
Yes, that is a good plan. Thank you.
All right. So, Zuck and Thelaphora, while you're sitting down, you guys as you're waiting to get your food, you overhear this massive pig man ask for dessert for his what you assume is a pet. It is. You're pretty sure it's a gnome, but it's very dirty, and so you're not 100% sure. And it doesn't go up past like halfway up his calf. It is a very small creature, and then they are also accompanied by a 6.5 foot tall turtle man. So, Zuck, you
I
have
lean over to Zach, almost as weird as we are.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Zuck, you have
Almost.
interacted with turtles before. That is the name of the race. They're turtles.
Yeah.
You've interacted with them before. You haven't had like a bad interaction, but you haven't had like a great one. You're kind of a neutral on them.
Yeah.
Neither. We're gonna just do a luck check. Then Nags, what? Give me a luck check. See if you've ever interacted with Pharaoh before.
Again, with a 3.
Jeez. Yeah, you've absolutely interacted with Pharaoh. Your clan traded with a group. Thelaphora, you have also worked with Pharaoh. The reason, though, that you worked with Pharaoh was because they're great at tracking down mushrooms. They are legitimately like truffle boars. And you worked with them at one point to track down some mushrooms. Some in that situation, it was mushrooms you wanted to eat. But you have interacted with Pharaoh in the past. So both of you have interacted with Pharaoh, and you know for certain this Pharaoh is far more well-spoken than any you have ever interacted with. They are a gruff, rough-and-tumble group. They are prone to swearing. They love bacon, which has always been something that weirds out most people. But the Pharaoh cooks some of the best food you've ever had in your life. And that goes for both of you. Where Thelaphora, you prefer mushrooms and veggies, and Zuck, you're a carnivore. Both of you have had your best meals you've ever had with Pharaoh cooks.
The best of both worlds.
So, to be fair, Pharaoh are known for being really good chefs. And so you tend to run into Pharaoh. Most of the time when you run into Pharaoh outside of some form of tribe is in situations like that where they are they're cooks of a sort.
Okay, so that was what they like. It wasn't just general goods; it was mainly food. That my particular
Yeah, I mean,
traded with them.
your people would trade beneficial like skins and pelts and stuff that you found and foodstuffs. You would trade that to them. And then they would trade back whatever it is that they were catching. I mean, you're savage tribes, right? So it's not like you're trading in textiles and
Mhm.
ceramics, right? You're trading in animal products. Like you guys would hunt alligators or crocodiles, and then you would take those skins, and those skins would make really strong leather that the pharaoh would use. And so, in response, the pharaoh would uh, trade with you, and they give you guys. I mean, sometimes they might give you some truffles that they found. Sometimes they might give you um, antlers from stags that they've hunted, or whatever the case may be, right? That you guys would
Got
then
it.
be able to use for bows, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of been your experience with the pharaoh. They were always good neighbors. Your clan never fought with the pharaoh, though that could also be just because you lived in a swamp and they didn't like swamps.
Fair.
And it just so would have it that there is the only open seats are next to you guys, and so the pharaoh, the turtle, and the pet have to sit with you.
I guess I'll strike up a conversation. It's rare to see Pharaoh up this way.
Well, yes, of course. We are on a pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage?
Yes. I think that's the right word. Yeah.
A
It's
holy
the-
journey.
Yes. It is the one where the Hungry Mothers have sent us to better relations between other races.
Do I know anything about the Hungry Mothers?
Give me a religion check. I mean, you would have basic circumstantial knowledge just because of knowing having interacted with them, with the pharaoh. If you want anything more specific, other than it's what they worship,
Da, 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 da.
the Hungry Mothers are Zuck. The Hungry Mothers are, the pharaoh. They are a matriarchal society, and the Hungry Mothers are just the big sows that have the babies, and so
Got it.
they are always out there
Understood.
trying to get food for the sows because they're always having babies. Because pharaoh they pop babies out, man. They're just
Uh-huh.
they got little piglets all the time.
Got it. Nailed it.
Thelaphora, the Hungry Mothers. You don't know much about the history behind the religion, but the pharaoh believe in hospitality, but they're also incredibly violent. So it's kind of an interesting mixture of their species, and the Hungry Mothers represent that, right? Because a hungry mother is trying to feed her babies and herself, and is going to be more aggressive, maybe, than you would expect.
Yeah.
But also is going to understand other people that are hungry and help them. So if you can keep a pharaoh calm enough to request hospitality, you are able to they'll put you up at night in their wherever they live, and they'll in their home and stuff, right? They'll put you up for the night. They'll feed you, which in fact is how you originally met them. You were tired and you were traveling, and you didn't feel like sleeping under the stars another night, and you ran across some pharaoh and you asked them if you could sleep at their fire, and they said absolutely not, and they gave you a bed instead. So it had more swear words in it when they said it, but I mean, this is supposed to be a family friendly stream, so we'll just.
So he's going on a holy pilgrimage to foster goodwill between the other races. Yeah. That makes sense. Makes sense.
So I'm gonna give you guys a chance. I'm gonna take a bite of my pizza and let you guys talk amongst yourself for a second.
I'm going to wait 2 seconds, and then I'm going to ask you a question when you have a mouthful of pizza.
1, 2.
Yes, I made contact with my people outside the gate. I've come in to mingle with other adventurers, perhaps increase my reputation, get some coin, and show by virtue of how I don't eat people that we are a polite race of people.
I've been trying to do the same thing. That was the first thing they said to me when I got here. You eat people. I don't eat people.
It is the first thing they said to Bavilk as well.
yeah,
Both
So
of your races are
prejudiced.
known for cannibalism. Like, that's something that your races are known for. Just
it's
throwing that out there.
a personal choice, right? You don't have to eat people.
Well, I mean, I do.
Wow.
It's waste. Just let a dead body decomposing on the side of the road. You just let it waste away. I mean, it'd be better in my tummy.
Yeah, if you don't get it, the plants will.
Right.
Okay, and I'll rephrase. You don't have to kill and eat people. If they're already dead,
Oh yeah. No.
Your passive perceptions are enough to notice the horrified expressions around you.
Well, it's kind of fancy to have met you, except you, pointing to Telephora.
It's wonderful meeting you both, except for you.
I'll scoot away from the table a little bit.
He's a doctor. He's completely fine.
Oh, well then,
All he does is he wants to help people.
much better. We have a bad reputation with elves, but I was thinking. I was yesterday. I was out trying to get business arrangements for people. Today, I was going to look and try to get an adventuring party together. And I was seeing you here after having sat down because I am extremely perceptive and I 100% saw before I sat down. Since we all look odd, perhaps we would look less odd if we were together. Maybe that could help us to sell our services as adventurers. We could be the monster party.
The closer we are to danger, the further we are from harm.
Solid logic, a little backwards, but in the correct direction.
I think it'll have the opposite effect. Will
Such
be
a
much
Pippin and
scarier, but
Merry
I'm
thing.
for it.
Such a Pippin and Merry thing. The closer we are to danger, the further we are from harm. Right? The more beastmen you get together, the less dangerous they are.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Nobody's afraid of a mob.
Well, I tried to apply, join House Beneath, and they turned me away because they didn't know who I was. So maybe an adventuring party is exactly what I need.
Yeah, this would be a good opportunity to build rapport.
But you know what you should do? You should make a better guild than their guild so they come crawling to you begging to join your guild.
That's a really good idea. Although, I mean, I want to join a guild less about the adventuring and more I want to help people. That's why I'm with this doctor.
Yeah, you're a great help.
This is like a
Do my
Somali pirate who has signed up to work with a doctor without borders.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to help, but all I have is an AK-47, so I just
Yeah.
help him help people.
Well, what's a coincidence? I need help.
Perfect. With what?
increasing my reputation, going on adventures, saving people. The more people you save, the more they like you.
And eventually, you'll be able to help people on your own without dragging me around.
I'm not dragging you around.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Ah,
It is a very important thing. I think I should tell you because my friends outside of the city have a little bit of a skewed opinion on how to help people. We should not put them in danger and then help them. We should help people who are already in danger.
Astute observation.
I completely agree. I didn't know that was a question, but yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Well, do you have any plans on what you want to do once you have this adventuring party?
Well, there's a board that we can go look at for bounties.
As you guys are talking, a Weasley-looking guy sits down. He's like, "Hey, I hear you guys are an adventuring party, and you're looking for work.
Free adventuring party. Thank you.
By the way, you're looking for work, right?
Potentially.
Well, don't worry about that old board. That's useless to you. I know somebody who's looking for a group just like you. Be great. It's good, honest work. Everybody calls me Honest Pete. It's good, honest work. The guards need somebody to go check on something that they can't take care of right now. And they asked Honest Pete because, hey, Honest Pete, I'm the Honest Pete. And I know how to find people. I found you. And to bring somebody to them so I can take you over to the guards. And I let you know, right? I send you there and you got yourselves a job.
As a start, the only people I never trust in life are people who call themselves honest.
You have honest in your name. You are anything but.
I don't believe him. His name's not Pete. You're right. It's Peter, but he goes by Pete. He honestly does have a job. He is a Weasley greasy dude, but Bavolk, you don't think he's selling you a line. You think he's got an actual job he's recruiting for.
Well, since we just newly formed our adventuring party, I would like to accompany Honest Pete. I mean, he's honest. His name is Honest Pete, therefore he couldn't be lying to us.
Whoa. Slow down there, Bobok. We definitely need more details about why the guards aren't going there and who's going to be the employer who pays us.
That's fair, Master Elf. That's fair. All right, so the detail. I don't have all the details. I'm not the one given the job. I'm just a recruiter, right? I'm just part of the recruiters. I'm looking, right? You could call me a managing director.
Recruiter Pete.
Right? No, Honest Pete. I am Honest Pete.
Recruiter Pete.
Recruiter Pete. Managing Director Pete. Band Organizer Pete. I do it all.
I'll call you Managing Director Pete.
I trust you with my life, Honest Pete.
This man's my savior. No, like I said, I'm just a recruiter. I'll get you to the guards. They'll be the ones who pay you. I get paid a finder's fee when I bring you. You don't pay me anything. I don't know why they're not doing it. All I know is they asked me to find somebody to handle it for them. Generally, when the guards are doing that, it's because they don't wanna. Let's be real. The guards are spread thin. Nobody wants to join the guard guild and just sit around. When you come to Althalos and you want to join a guild, well, you're not going to go to the guards. It's just boring. So anybody who's worth anything goes elsewhere. And so they don't want to take some of these investigations Because they're lazy. Let's be honest here. I'm Honest Pete, and I'll tell you the truth anytime you ask.
He's living up to his name.
So
Honest
I'm gonna lean over to Zook and whisper very loudly so everybody can hear. Hey, I've seen this scam before. He's taken us to the guards to get arrested.
Why? I have papers.
But I have papers!
They told me when I came in here, have these papers or you get arrested. I have the papers.
It's a good thing you do, Master Lizardman. It's a good thing you do. There's some guards, they don't particularly care for lizardmen, and they'll arrest you on sight. It's very unseemly. But you, Master Pharaoh, you wound me. I am not trying to get you arrested. You can ask anybody if Honest Pete is honest. They'll tell you it's in the name.
Can I ask the bartender?
Yeah, are you going to
Oh.
ask him in front of Honest Pete, or are you going to go stand up and go talk to him?
No, I'm gonna ask him in front of Honest Pete. I'm gonna.
Okay.
Do you know this guy? Is he honest?
It's Honest Pete.
That didn't sound convincing.
He's a recruiter. He's... all recruiters are slime balls. They all are. Honest Pete's very indignant at that. And he kind of sputters a little. And then he says, and you still owe me for those drinks the other night, Honest Pete. When are you going to square up with me?
dishonesty.
Honest Pete can't pay his tab. Interesting.
What? I've had a bit of a hard time recruiting new bands. And so when I heard you guys were forming a band, I thought, well, I've got a job. The Pharaoh said he needs a job. This is a great opportunity.
Well, I think this is enough. I think we can accept this job at face value.
Yeah.
And
Well, he didn't lie about being a recruiter. So,
How about this, Honest Pete? You point us in the direction and we'll check it out later in the day. We'll tell them that Honest Pete sent us.
He kind of nods. As you will. As you will. I'm going to keep recruiting. If I find a different band, you'll lose the job. But, and he slides over a copper coin that's got a cheery, smiling, Honest Pete face on it. And he tells you, you just give this to the guards, and he gives you direction to which guardhouse you need to go to, and he tells you the name of the guards you got to talk to. Raffi is the name of the guard. And you take this and you tell old Raffi, Honest Pete sent you, and he'll make sure I get my cut. I want to make the money, all right? You just take it on down to him, and he'll get to help you out. Now, I gotta tell you, that's not real copper. So don't try to use it anywhere, because nobody will accept it. They'll see my face, and they'll know it's not real copper. It's just a recruiter's mark.
Yep. It's counterfeit. Dishonest.
Not counterfeit. It's not copper.
well, he was honest about telling us that it's not copper, right?
it's true. Yeah. He was honest about his counterfeiting.
We can just call him Realistic Pete.
Realistic Pete.
50-50 Pete.
50-50 Pete. U.S.
Half and half
Senate Pete. Okay, well, he's gonna sit there for an uncomfortably long time. He's gonna continue talking to you guys and just asking about, your trips and what's brought you here. He's actually a fairly decent source of information. You're noticing he does seem to have his ear to the ground. And if anybody wants to, Bavolt gave me an insight check. But yeah, so if you guys want to try and get some information out of him, Grills him for info on guilds. What do you specifically want to know? Because he's got a lot of info on guilds. He's in a guild. He even shows you his tattoo.
Which
His-
guild is he a part of?
The Recruiters Guild.
The recruiting guild.
Yeah, so they legitimately they'll find out about jobs. Sometimes people just go to them with a job, and then they go find bands of adventurers to go take the job. Take the gig is what he calls it.
That's fair. I feel a little bit better about believing him, knowing if he's from the recruiting guild.
Yeah, he's got a tattoo on his forearm. And when you asked, he's like, "Oh, I'm Honest Pete," and he tells you he's from the Recruiters. He pulls his shirt up and shows you the tattoo that the official tattoo that shows he is a member of the Recruiters Guild. Like this is his job. He's definitely like he's sleazy. He's slimy. He's like a used car salesman, but
I was gonna say that.
But as far as Bovolk's insight's concerned, he's not the used car salesman that throws sawdust in the gas tank.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how dangerous is this job?
He doesn't know. The guard said just any band will do, so that generally means it's on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 1 or a 2. It's not terribly difficult, not terribly dangerous, but you'll probably get your swords out.
Cool. Anyway, I interrupted Care Bear grilling him about guilds.
It's all good. So I hired this dude Patrick. Not Patrick. Patrick's my friend. This dude Bernie yesterday to life coach to help me find a guild that would be best suited for me.
Deception
he's-
check.
This guy is honest Balvok. He would never lie.
Bernie, huh?
Yeah, I don't remember his name. But
Doesn't sound like
I was-
he's gilded to me.
I didn't know enough at the time to ask that question. But since you are a gilded person, you have a reputation to uphold. Which guilds do you think I should go talk to about possibly guilds that have a higher non-human element, more fighting, more, but good reputation?
Well, the Pride is always a good one. They're basically your monster guild. They got an orc in charge, and they've got I think they've got some gnolls. They tend to be the one that picks up. The Cathedral of St. James. They'll take anybody. Anybody, as long as you meet their requirements, they'll take you. The Cathedral of St. James will bring you in. They're pretty religious, but it's got a lot of beer in the religion, so it's not that bad. Do you ask about the Scavengers Guild, Telefora?
No, but yes, sure. Why not? Let's ask about the Scavengers Guild.
Yeah, he's not sure what you mean by the Scavengers Guild. There's a repo guild, basically, who's like, they're the loan sharks, and they're the ones that break people's knees. And they go and they take back from people, so they kind of scavenge. But then there's also like a group that will follow around large bands, like mercenary bands, as they go and they fight larger scale battles. And the scavengers will take the stuff that was left and then go sell that. Sometimes they'll be magnanimous and bring something back to a loved one for a price.
Cool.
Would there be any guilds that possibly have a high, beast folk membership, but then would maybe be interested in increasing the good reputation. Maybe taking savage folk and helping them to integrate into a society such as this.
Well, I mean, Gorbag over at the Pride, he takes no crap from anybody. I've never seen a more disciplined lot than them. But I mean, they're all monsters. No offense, it's the common term. But they, people generally call them the monsters, and the monsters, they tend to have a lot of beast people. They've got some gnolls. They've got some. They've got some. I think they've got a lupin in there. They've got some cat folk. So what are they called? The tabaxi. The tabaxi. They don't like cat folk. He looks around just to check. I think they've even got a goblin or two that grow explosive mushrooms. Now, don't quote me on that one. I'm Honest Pete. I tell the truth, but I don't know. I've been told they've got explosive mushrooms. I don't know why. Who would need an explosive mushroom? But they say they've got them.
What about House Deneth? What can you tell me about them?
Oh, House Deneth. They won't work with me. They don't like me. They say I'm dishonest. That's lies and slander.
They don't like me either.
Well, then you're in good company, friend, because I'm Honest Pete. It's in the name. House Deneth, there's no better bodyguards. You won't find better bodyguards anywhere you go. They're the ones who guard the biggest and the best, and they're the toughest, and they have, I think they've got 3 bands that go into the dungeon. They've got 3 whole bands that go into the dungeon on a regular basis. Nobody's ever heard of that many bands. Most guilds have a hard time making one full band. But they're tough. They're tough. But they don't like outsiders much. And begging your pardon, Mr. Lizardman, they don't particularly care for outsider species. They don't like the tabaxi. They don't like the beast folk. They don't like the lizardmen or the pharaoh. No offense to you guys. I love you. I'd never lie to you. I love you. But House Deneth, in my experience, they don't really care for anybody who's not already in House Deneth or paying them.
Yeah, I got that too. That's
Oh, you went by, did
to
you?
the city. What was that?
Oh, you went by there, did you?
I did.
Oh,
That was the whole reason I came to this city, was to try and...
I wish you'd have ran into Honest Pete first, because I'd have steered you away from that. Probably wasn't much fun.
I would have gone anyway. It's okay, Honest Pete.
At least you're honest.
Down to go and check out the guards quest.
Since he's still there, he offers to take you if you want, but he understands if you want to just go. He just asks that you make sure you give Rafi his mark so that he gets paid for the recruitment if you take the job.
Yeah, willing to use the mark.
Okay. So yeah, he gives you directions. It is one of the more the guard shack is up in this area. He tells you it's near the chariot races and the theater. So you know he kind of gives you an idea where to go so that you can get there. So you're able to find your way there. And he offers again, if you'd like him to take you, he's more than happy. But if not, you've got the directions.
I don't mind if he takes this.
Then I am fine with it.
Okay.
Hey. Well, I need to swing by this other bar on the way to see if there is another person there, so we can pick her up on the way.
Oh, who you looking for? A lovely lady?
It's just another member of our party. So I can meet you guys over there.
Okay.
Sounds
I'm gonna swing by where I first saw her to see if she's there.
You're talking about Kira Nollis?
Nollis, yes.
Okay.
I was staring at the word, trying to figure out how to pronounce it. Yeah, I'm gonna go swing by and see if I can find her, pick her up. Pick her up. Let her know what we're doing, and see if she wants to come along as like a trial for our agreement.
Okay. Give me a fortune check to see if she happens to be there in the morning. Yeah, she's there. And so yeah, she's there. She's eating her breakfast when you come in. And you offer her the idea of doing like a trial run just to come with. And
Yep.
as you go on this job, she asks you what the job is.
That's what we're gonna go find out.
Okay. If you
Did
don't,
you?
go ahead.
Did you want a like I could pay you for skilled services of just accompanying us, or depending on what the job is, we can put you in as a share of whatever the word it's when you kill something and you scavenge it.
Oh,
Bounty.
not bounty.
No.
But that thing has just either we can give her a share of whatever we find, or I can just
Looters'
give
rights.
her looter's rights. Yes. Or I can pay her, which would out of character. It's like in the book it says it's 2 silver for a skilled hireling, which her skill is the storytelling. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to offer if she wants a straight payment for the day.
Okay. She'd want the 2 silver up front. And then if the job goes off and she decides to accompany you, so she's not she wants to take the 2 silver and go down and find out what the job is before she chooses to accompany you, because she says, "I'm not crawling around the sewers. I'm just not gonna do it. Not for 2 silver."
That is perfectly acceptable.
So she go ahead.
I would say if you come with us and you don't take the job, just say good words about us.
She says that's fair. So she'll take 2 silver to go with you, and then if she takes the job, she wants a fair share. However, she'll take the 2 silver out of that fair share that she gets for whatever the job pays.
Yep. That sounds actually like a fair deal. And I'm obviously an extremely intelligent individual, and I know these things.
You've
keep
never
saying that.
been
You're just like
hoodwinked.
Honest Pete.
Yeah, I'm smart Balvuk. My name's Intelligent Jim. It's like 10 Toes Tony, right? Why do you call him 10 Toes Tony? Well, because he's got 10 toes. Well, at least he did at one point. What was it? No, I had a character that was in one of our campaigns as an NPC. His name was Tommy Two Thumbs because he had 2 thumbs. That was it. That was his name, and that was why. was Tommy Two Thumbs because I got 2 thumbs. And he did. He did have 2 thumbs. Had no other fingers, but he had 2 thumbs.
Shockingly, and the
If I roll low,
What's that?
if I roll a low stat for a character, I'm gonna do that. Put it into intelligence and Tommy Two Thumbs.
I like it. Wondrous. Okay, so with Honest Pete guiding you, he leads you guys right up to where you need to go, which is just it's in this area. There's it's pretty plain, easy to notice once you know what you're looking for. Because basically every building has some form of a guild mark, right? They're all saying, "Oh, we're part of this guild. We're the Cartographers Guild. We're the Fisherman's Guild. We're the this." Everybody is gilded. Like everybody is affiliated with some form of a guild in this part of the city. So almost everybody is going to have a guild tattoo on their arm that shows who they are, or wears some form of tabard or necklace or ring that identifies them as what guild they're a part of. Nobody's really giving you the side eye because they see you with a recruiter. But I mean, we have a lizard folk, a pharaoh, and a turtle moving through the streets. People are going to give you the side eye no matter what you do. Okay. But you guys are able to make your way up there to the guardhouse, where Honest Pete introduces you to Guard Captain Rafi. Guard Captain Rafi is a tall, dark-skinned man with white braided hair. And so yeah, as you guys are there, what is he typing? Oh, I was waiting. He was typing. Kitty Winkle picks up
crap.
Patrick. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was supposed to be me, not Kitty Winkles.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh, I never mentioned that. Kitty Winkles is what looks to be the ugliest chicken you have ever seen. Ever.
Yeah?
And it accompanies the pharaoh everywhere. He feeds it off of his plate. It sits next to him. He's constantly petting it or just like being aware of it. And it is the ugliest, goofiest looking thing you have ever seen. Okay? Like,
Well, that's cute.
do you see its face?
I did, yeah.
So that is Kitty Winkles. I forgot to mention that Kitty Winkles is with him everywhere he goes. The man goes to a strip club and Kitty Winkles is the one stuffing the tens.
Yep.
So, okay, yeah, you guys get to the guardhouse. You meet Guard Captain Rafi. He introduces himself as the guard captain for this district. And he says he's got a job that he'd like to hire you for. He tells Honest Pete to wait outside, and because he doesn't want the details out on the job, he just wants to talk to the people who'll be doing the job. And then if you take the job, then he'll pay Honest Pete's wages.
Cool.
Okay.
No, Bob Oak. Not quite. Actually, maybe. How big is Kitty Winkles?
Chicken size. He's a big chicken.
You know what? It's funnier if the answer is yes, so that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So Patrick rides on Kitty Winkles as you guys go through the city. So Kitty Winkles is a large chicken, and Patrick is a very small child gnome. So he's fine. Kid could ride on a beagle and be okay. Okay, So yeah, Guard Captain Rafi, as soon as Honest Pete's out and he shuts the door, he sits down in his chair and he's kind of grumpy, obviously. I guess maybe not so obvious to you guys, but he's frustrated. He said that they've got he's stretched thin and something happened in his district, but it needs to be investigated in another district, and the captain over there doesn't want to work with me. We're not on good terms, and so he's not helping me out. But I can't send my guards into another district without his district's permission. And so I'm having a hard time, and I can't get the Burgomeister to listen and help me out. So this is why I've come to, I found a recruiter to just find me some adventures that can go. You guys can do this. You guys can cross the borders and take care of it. There's an artificer that was in the area. We suspect he was into some blood magic, and he made some item that is killing people, or has killed people, and we need to find out where it is. I have his name. I have a general idea of where he might be, but I would need to get you to do the investigation to track down the rogue artificer as well as his weapon or whatever it is he has made, so we can get that taken care of and get that off the streets before it becomes dangerous.
As the first question, is going into this other guard captain's district going to earn us his ire?
I don't suppose it would unless you cause an issue. He'll never even know that you're there. Adventurers travel back and forth all the time.
Okay.
I mean,
why won't he just work with you?
oh, it's a bit of a story. But it's personal. If you want to try to persuade him to tell you, you can roll a persuasion check.
Left with it at the other.
Are you sleeping with his wife?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yes. That's what happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault, but that's what happened.
What, did you fall?
No, she got me drunk.
Well, we'll not do too much digging into that particular avenue. You guys have any other job-related questions?
No.
Just when you go into his district, if something happens,
Don't sleep with his wife. Got it.
don't sleep with his wife and don't get picked up in his district. If he finds out you're working for me and you burn down a house, he's gonna be real unhappy and you'll probably be in jail a lot longer than you should. So
Well, luckily, the lizard friend is really good at getting in and out without people noticing.
oh, well, that's
Aye.
a useful ability that the guard captain should be aware of.
Papers. I have papers.
I imagine you're like Lilu from The Fifth Element. Multipass? Multipass? She knows it's a multipass.
Hands the guard captain the papers and is written all in Elvish.
What is this? I don't read scribbles. Yeah. So I'll pay you 50 gold each if you can bring me the item, and we get this settled. If you can find the one who did it and bring him in alive, I'll give you another 25 each.
I'm down.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Bavok?
Yes, everyone agrees. I'm following the masterminds of this plan.
Now, does the 50 gold each include whoever you just brought?
Well,
That's what each
Five
means.
oak.
there's 5 of you, right?
Okay.
The 5 of you are your
Okay.
band.
Yep.
All 5.
I
Just met her, but yeah, well, I guess
love
so.
how you're like, 5? What? Turn around. What? Bavok's like, yes. And you're like, yeah. We are, all
Yep.
5 of us. 5-person band. All 5. Very close friends.
Let's say I'm going to point to Patrick riding Kitty. He's a little, so but he's a part of the party, so 6.
He looks at him and then looks back at you. I recognize a child. Please don't put a child in danger. I'm not paying you for a child on a chicken.
But look at this battle steed.
What's that?
He is in 0 danger. He is just an important part of the party.
I'll give you an extra 15 for him.
Okay, deal.
Freaking adventurers.
That's more money than that orphan child has seen in his life. That's fine.
That's true. That's very true.
Anyway, yeah.
Hmm?
We're gonna need the name of the dude.
Yep.
Last known whereabouts. Crimes against the country. The list.
So he can provide you with his name, who he's affiliated with, and last known whereabouts is in the Southern District, right? The people that were found dead were found up here in this district, and that's why it falls under his jurisdiction to start it. But it's further in the south, over this way. So you actually weren't far from where he's affiliated with. He's affiliated with... he's not a gilded alchemist or artificer, but he did a lot of work over in the slums somewhere. He has no idea where the lab is, just his name and where he's at, and that'll take some effort to on your part to track that information down. If he had that information, he'd give it to you, but he doesn't.
Okay.
What was his name? Can you type it?
I hadn't give you his name.
Okay.
So just clarification out of character. So I don't know the information, but I would like to know the information. Is there an actual difference between an alchemist and an artificer, or is an alchemist an artificer that just specializes in chemicals and stuff?
So an alchemist is a chemist. They work with liquids. They work with generally they'll make something that is liquid, whereas an artificer is more like an engineer or a roboticist, depending on the kind of artificer it is.
Cool.
So they are related fields, but not very related fields.
Cool.
And his name is Old Tom, is what people call him. He's Old Tom, and he's Old Tom the Alchemist.
And he is a murderer or a manslaughterer.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. We have reason to believe he's the one who caused the deaths here. We're not sure if he did it on purpose or if he did it on accident through negligence. Either way, people are dead and someone needs to be held accountable.
Did you say he was a blood mage?
We believe he was using blood magic, considering the way the people died. They had been drained of their blood, but not in a... it wasn't a organized fashion, so they weren't strung up and gutted like a pig. If you were to go down to the butcher's market, they weren't strung up like a pig, but their blood had been removed, and there were certain vials nearby that contained their blood. We think that he was interrupted in the act and left. We don't know if the device he made is what did this. If he did this, we just have reason to believe that he's been fiddling with blood magic. Now, do you have any further questions?
Nope.
Nope.
He pulls a small sack of coins that's tied off, and he tosses it to you. He says, "Will you hand that to Honest Pete on your way out?"
Yep.
Okay. And then you guys leave. You leave the guardhouse. Do you give Honest Pete his money?
Yep.
Okay. He thanks for your time, and he leaves you with one of his coins, one of his marks. He says, "Hey, if you're ever in need, go to any recruiter's outpost and tell them you're looking for Honest Pete, and they can get me, and I can help you find some jobs, help you find places. Sometimes I've even been known to help people find guilds that suit them, and smooth over some introductions. I'm Honest Pete. It's in the name."
One more thing, Honest Pete.
He's got that branding thing.
Branding is on point. Go ahead.
If you know of any scouts from House Deneth, I know you said they weren't fond of you, but send them toward. I guess we can't tell you what the job is. Tell them to look out for us.
You won't be hard to you'd be a hard group to miss. If I find any of the scouts, I'll send them your way. I can't say you'd like being a part of House Deneth, but I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just being honest.
Because he's half and half Pete. Woo!
But I don't know. It's not my life, Pete. Okay. Any further questions for Pete before he takes his leave and takes off?
Nope.
No.
Okay. I know nobody asked, but the crime scene is not available. It's already been cleared because it happened a little while ago and they couldn't just leave it there. So there is no crime scene for you to be able to go check out. If just in case anybody wanted to do that, the description you've gotten from the captain is about all the description you'll have to go on.
Okay.
Now, real quick before we continue, I know I'd had a few people tell me that they could only play until 30 minutes ago. So,
Yeah.
this is a perfect place to wrap it up before the actual investigation starts. So I think we
For
should
some rapid.
I think we should wrap it up for the evening. 10
rappers that Eminem is too afraid of.
What?
What?
So for the skill challenges that you guys succeeded, you'll each get 75 experience points. It's just throughout the group. I know not everybody participated in each of the skill challenges, but I feel like there were enough that everybody should get 75 XP.
So everyone gets a flat 75 XP, or
Everybody gets a flat. That's after it's been divided down between the four of you. So I'm even gonna give to J-Dog because I know he would be here if he could, and so I'm not gonna punish him for not being able to be here.
Do you want to make him fall behind because he's got family things?
Yeah, because I got family fiends, man. And Muscles gives everybody an additional 50.
Oh,
yeah.
thanks, Muscles.
Muscles is probably about the nicest viewer we've had, because the last time we had that happen, somebody that was giving stuff away, it was, hey, make nags suffer. And that was AJ.
Yeah, that was fun. Mhm.
It was fun for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think in bits, what he gave me like $5 in bits just to mess with you. So
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't mind.
I remember. Yep. It did happen.
Okay. We are going to adjourn for the evening. This will be the close for us. We will be back with On the Road to Greatness episode 2 in 2 weeks. So it's every other Friday. So next Friday, we'll have a regular stream. The following Friday, we will have On the Road to Greatness, episode 2. If you have questions that you want to ask me or any of the players about anything that's going on, join the Discord. and drop stuff in there in the Guild House general chat. You can at Nags if you have questions about Zuck. If you have questions about dude, it's so close to Theophanu, and that is a character we've had for ages. But Thelaphora, if you have questions about Theraphora, you can ask Geo. Kurak, you'll want to target J-Dog, and then Bavolk, you'll want to target Flaming Care Bear. So, if you guys have questions about that, you have questions about me or the way I prep, the way I plan out adventures and plan things out, feel free to ask in the Discord. I didn't ask these guys if it was okay for me to tell you to at them with questions about their characters. So if they don't like it, sorry guys, I already did it.
No worries. But expect a half and half response.
That's
I'm only 50% honest.
That's fair. Did you miss the explanation of the job, Bavolk?
No. You said to anybody to send you questions.
Ah,
So I was being cheeky.
okay. I was like, you don't get to send those questions, you silly goose. This is also another form of Kitty Winkles for those of you who have the splash page up or the stream up.
Yeah, that is
It's
terrifying.
when Care Bear sent it to me the first time, I said testicle chicken because that's what that looks like. So just imagine a small boy riding that through the streets.
I don't want to.
I know. But we are going to go ahead and we're going to wrap it up here. Stream Raiders is going to go off in 4 minutes. And then I'll run that through and we'll be done. Saturday and Sunday, I don't plan streams for those days. I doubt I'll be available this weekend. But I will definitely be back on Monday with next Monday's stream. So thank you guys for coming out here and supporting us and being a part of On the Road to Greatness as these guys go and try and become the greatest heroes that ever were. They're going to become the Hokage of Althalos.
I'm the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. Yeah.
So, all right. You guys have a good one,
Right.
and I will talk to everybody later. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Guys.